affected by storm damage. That also closed down in areas with some very lengthy delays. And, of course, some of the most significant damage that we've seen is up near the Lanier Elementary School off of State Route Highway 60, which is also shut down in that area. As you can take a live look now at Chopper 2 video at some of these homes that were just completely destroyed. As you can take a look down just off of that cul-de-sac, some of the homes just leveled and then others not touched. It's funny how these storms can work and just completely destroy some homes and then leave others untouched. So certainly some have gotten lucky, some experiencing some very difficult times this morning as we bring you these live videos from Chopper 2. So again, a serious situation continues up in Hall County. Traffic is a mess on Highway 53, Highway 60, Highway 129. They are all shut down. What authorities are asking you to do is to avoid that area so that the rescue crews can get in and do their job. We'll, of course, continue to bring you live reports from the scene. For now, I'm Chris Monroe live in the Channel 2 Traffic Center. Warren,
Chris, stick around for a little bit. I know you're trying to establish some communication with Jason Durden. I understand he told us he's actually saw some dump trucks overturned and houses blown off their foundations there.
In fact, up at the Lanier School, when we first got on the scene, a portion of the roof at the Lanier School had also been torn away, and there, in fact, were some big trucks. It's amazing the power of these storms that they can take something like a dump truck, which we think to be just so large and immovable, and just topple it like a toy.
And as you note, I mean, some of the houses that are intact and the houses like virtually next door blown off their foundations. Certainly hard to predict there. Now, that school that you were talking about, Lanier Elementary School, we have some video of the destruction there. This was recorded earlier.
Right, this is when we first came up on the scene here in the Channel 2 Skycopter, and you can see that's along Highway 60, just coming up at the bottom of your screen there, where all of the emergency crews are staged just outside the Lanier School, and part of the corner of that roof is completely ripped off, and of course they do have Highway 60 completely shut down there in front of the school. That will be the case for quite some time, and you can see the amount of debris that was strewn there from the scene as the storm made its pass across the school and the roadway.
All right, Chris, thank you. And also we can tell you also to recap some of the information we do know. One fatality is confirmed. We've been telling you about reports that we've received of one person trapped in rubble, and we're told that that person trapped is the stepdaughter. That is at Lake, at the Lanier Elementary School near Lake Lanier. That person trapped is the stepdaughter of a custodian there, and that perhaps maybe they may explain why that one person was in the building at the time. Of course, that happened about 6:30 before school started. So as far as the information we know, no other children were in the school at that time, and that's certainly good news. We did happen to catch a shot of a school bus that had been stopped, and that's particularly on one of those highways that are closed down, Chris.
Yeah, that certainly has been a problem for us this morning. And as the school kids were trying to get to school this morning, and buses were affected out there, and that's certainly going to be a problem for the school kids up there this morning, Warren.
All right, Chris, thank you. Karen is following this. She's bouncing back from the radar, from the Weather Center to the maps. Karen, what you got?
Well, right now, still no warnings or watches. We're watching that cell. This is the one that caused the trouble this morning in Hall County, moved through White and Habersham and through Rabun counties, now continuing to move off into North Carolina, and it is not going to be affecting us anymore. But let's take a look at what is going to affect us as we look at our regional Doppler radar. Now, as we watch this circulation, you see the counterclockwise circulation. This is the upper air low, and you see the rain showers underneath that system. The cold front trying to come into the state. It's undercutting that very warm air, is moving it up, and that cold air is slicing underneath it and pushing it up and adding the lift to it and making the unstable conditions across northeast Georgia. As we go back now a few hours, as it circulates again, here's that cell right there. That's the one that caused the damage in Hall County and is now moving off into the Carolinas. It was a very strong system moving very quickly at about 45 miles per hour, but you'll note behind it, it's quiet now. Just some scattered lighter showers behind it, very quiet, dry air. But around the circulation throughout the afternoon, we're going to keep the cloud cover in here, and there may be a few stray showers that do pop up again. That's the way the situation looks right now. I'll keep watching it for you, Warren, and come back in just a few minutes.
Karen, just before you go now, we were in the last half hour of Channel 2 Action News this morning when the warning came down. And one of the things that Chris Monroe and I noted when we were looking at some of the video recorded earlier from News Chopper 2 was how some of the homes were intact and the neighbors virtually next door or blown off their foundations. I mean, what can you say about that? I mean, the unpredictability of some of these storms.
Well, that's exactly it. When a tornado will come down out of that cloud and touch the ground, it sometimes can bounce around, and it may lift back up for a while and then come back down on the ground a few feet later or maybe a half mile later. So it can skip around, and it's very unusual, and forecasters don't know why.
Have you been able to ascertain how many times this tornado touched down, or did it touch down once, pop up, and touch down again? Have you been able
that
to
I can't tell you. In fact, the forecasters from the National Weather Service will have to go out to the actual sites to take a look at this to make their determinations.
All right, Karen, thank you. All right, Superintendent of Hall County has shut down all schools. That information just got into the Channel 2 Action Newsroom. All Hall County schools closed for the day. Now, if we can go back to live pictures from Skycam aboard News Chopper 2. This is, you're looking at Lanier Elementary School, which was right in the path of this tornado. We do understand that there's one person trapped in the rubble there. We're told, this is unconfirmed, I believe, at this point, that the person trapped is the stepdaughter of a custodian at that school. Now, this happened at about 6:30 this morning, so it was prior to school beginning, prior to classes, so no kids were in school as far as we know right now. Live pictures from Skycam aboard News Chopper 2. Jason Durden, the pilot there, giving us these live pictures, the first pilot over the scene. We could tell you that several highways are shut down, and because of this, and Chris Monroe is keeping us up to date with that. Chris.
Yeah, it has certainly been one heck of a morning up here as we continue to bring footage from Hall County and just this awful destruction. And like you were talking about with Karen, it's just unbelievable to see after these storms move through how a house right next door to a house that is completely leveled, like that one right there, and then see a house standing with not a scratch on it, nothing in the yard. It's just unbelievable as we take a look at the scene. These live video continuing from Chopper 2. Let's get a better indication of what Jason Durden's over the scene. We've been able to talk to him from the Channel 2 Skycopter.
Chris, we're up over the scene still out here in Hall County. About a 10-mile stretch of destruction, about a half-mile wide, headed out of central Hall County up to the northeast towards the Habersham and White County line. Houses completely demolished, chicken houses flattened by the weather that moved through here, and parts of the Lanier School completely demolished out here in North Hall County.
Yeah, and we had some earlier video of that Lanier School as part of the roof had been ripped off of it along Highway 60 in Hall County. As we came up on the scene, this is initially what we saw coming up on this destruction in Hall County. A lot of emergency vehicles on the scene at the Lanier Elementary School as part of the roof, I said, ripped off, and Highway 60 continues to be closed up. Now, these aren't small streets. These are major thoroughfares that take a lot of traffic between Gainesville, the Cleveland area, up around Gainesville. A lot of people use that to head between Cumming and Gainesville along Highway 129, where they also had quite a bit of storm damage, and it has been quite a mess. So again, if you normally travel Highway 53, Highway 60, Highway 129, those major thoroughfares up across North Metro Atlanta area, you want to keep in mind that it is going to be quite a mess for a while. A lot of the stretches are closed with emergency vehicles, so Hall County and of course the emergency crews are urging you to please stay away from that area of Hall County and restrict all travel through there. For now, reporting live, I'm Chris Monroe in the Channel 2 Traffic Center. Back to you, Warren.
Chris, before you go, I know that you have communication with Jason. Not sure he can hear me. We reported that a triage has been set up at the Amoco on Highway 129 south of the Hall-White County line. Can you ask Jason, does he have a visual of that?
And that was the White County damage, Warren, on...
triage set up at the Amoco station on the White Hall County line at 129 South. I'm just curious if Jason has a visual of that.
He did see that, as a matter of fact. They had set up a temporary medical center triage, as you said, for some of the injured in this storm. And we did take a look at that earlier, and there was quite a bit of activity around that because some of the emergency equipment certainly could not get through and make it over to the other medical establishments and hospitals in time. So they have been able to set that up as well, Warren.
All right, Chris Monroe in the Traffic Center, thank you very much. Right now, what you're looking at is North Hall High School, and we're told Superintendent of Hall County Schools has shut down all schools in Hall County for the day. Again, for those of you just joining us, you're watching breaking news in Hall County. A tornado touched down about 6:30 this morning. We can tell you one fatality confirmed, several injuries, one person trapped in rubble. A Lanier School, or the Lanier School near Lanier Elementary School near Lake Lanier has been destroyed. A roof blown off of that building. One person trapped in some rubble there. We're told that there's a baby missing in Hall County. One person killed, a fatality there, a person hit by a tree while in his car. Karen has been following this, and she is bouncing back and forth from radar to the maps, and she's going to interpret all of that passing as it happens. Karen?
Well, this morning, Warren, of course, we did have that severe storm that just really popped up. We were watching kind of a line of it that came across I-75 this morning, just north of Atlanta. But it really was very minor at that point. It had a lot of lightning with it. It had some pretty heavy showers. It really did not start to pick up any action until it got into Hall County, just near Lake Lanier. And then it did so with fury and came across parts of White County, then through Habersham County, then Clayton County, and now here it is as it's moving across North Carolina. You can see the line as it comes together on our regional Doppler radar, and as you'll notice, we'll watch this circulate again. This is a cell right here, and it just made that northeast track all across the state, 45 miles an hour, so a very fast-moving one with a tornado coming down out of it and bouncing around across Hall County that caused all of that destruction. Behind the system, you'll notice that it's very quiet. There are no rain showers out there right now. To the west of us, just a few scattered light areas of rain across the metro area. But the upper air low is still up here circulating counterclockwise, and it's pulling that cooler, drier air in, and it's cutting underneath it. And that cooler air is heavier, so it's going to be down toward the bottom. That lighter air is warmer air is lighter, more buoyant, and all you have to do is give it some lift, and it pops up very quickly and produces the severe nature of storms that it did this morning. Well, as that colder air rides into the state, then all of this action will subside a little bit. As we get into the afternoon, it's just going to be cloudy and no severe storms. However, over Franklin and Hart counties, there still is a tornado watch in effect until 1 o'clock this morning, and that is right along the state line of South Carolina. And that's all the information I have for this moment. I will head back across the studio to the Weather Center and see what else I can come up with for you, Warren.
All right, Karen, thank you. Recapping now for those of you who are just joining us. A tornado touched down in Hall and White counties early today, about 6:30 this morning, causing extensive damage. One fatality confirmed, several injuries. Lanier Elementary School completely destroyed, from what we understand right now. One person trapped in rubble. No children were in the school. We are told that one baby is missing in Hall County. The fatality involved one tree hit this person while they were in their car. Hall County Superintendent of Schools has closed all schools for the day. You're looking at live pictures now from Skycam aboard News Chopper 2. The first chopper above the scene. A number of highways closed down. Highway 50, 53, 60. Chris Monroe, what's the latest?
Yeah, it has been a very messy morning, Warren, certainly for Hall County residents as these storms rolled through. You're looking at live video now from Chopper 2 that we're continuing to bring you back from the scene. Just a horrible situation near Gainesville in Hall County, where a lot of damage has been caused by these storms as they rumbled through, possibly some tornado touchdowns that have demolished some homes. Of course, there's a lot of chicken industry up in Hall County and Gainesville. Some of the chicken houses were flattened and leveled and destroyed this morning by these powerful storms that moved through, and it has also destroyed several homes. As you can see, mobile homes have also been affected in that area as well. Warren?
All right, okay, Chris, thank you. And we can tell you that our triage center has been set up at the Amoco station on the Hall-White County line on 129 South. We do have several news crews on the way to the scene there, and we will bring you a live report from the ground just as soon as they are in place. Meantime, we are going to stay with this wall-to-wall and bring you the latest pictures and information as it becomes available. Again, this is Gainesville, Hall County, which you're looking at live pictures from News Chopper 2. Extensive damage, as Chris noted, that a large chicken industry, poultry industry in Gainesville, and Jason Durden, our pilot aboard News Chopper 2, noted a number of chicken coops spewed all over the area. The damage is wide, a lot of trees down, some homes blown off their foundations, and then homes virtually right next door untouched. Jason also noted some dump trucks that were overturned due to the power, the force of this storm. As Karen Menton pointed out earlier, about 45 miles per hour this storm came through early, about 6:30 this morning, and with very little warning, we were able to pass along to you this tornado warning. As of right now, all warnings and watches have been lifted, and this cell that moved through has moved up into South Carolina. Nothing but, virtually calm weather just behind it, and as you can see right now, just by virtue of our helicopter being there, that not much going on weather-wise right now. You've got Highway 53, Highway 60, and Highway 50 shut down. The Lanier Elementary School was right in the path of this tornado in Hall County. The roof ripped off of that building. It fortunately happened before classes began, so we're told no children were in the school. We're told there is one person trapped underneath that rubble. Not sure right now if emergency crews have been able to get to that person. And we have been told that that person was the stepdaughter of a custodian, which may certainly lend some understanding why that person may have been in the building. Right here, you're looking at North Hall High School. Not sure if any damage involved in this tornado here or at this school here from this weather system this morning, but nevertheless, all schools are closed. So as some of the emergency crews try to get to some of the damage and assess the damage, which is extensive, and try to get to some of those injured, because there are several injuries, one fatality. And those who may be curious as far as loved ones who may be in that area, there is a triage center that has been set up at the Amoco station on 129 South on the White Hall County line. Again, you're looking at more damage. It's widespread. I mean, the chicken coops that were just destroyed, homes blown off their foundations, dump trucks blown over. To talk about the force of this tornado, about 45 miles per hour, about 6:30 this morning. Chris Monroe is keeping us up to date with traffic in the area. He is live in the traffic center with the latest. Chris.
Yeah, Warren, it has certainly been quite a mess again in Hall County this morning with lots of destruction. And of course, whenever we have a situation like this, it also causes some major traffic problems. We've had Jason Durden up in the Channel 2 Skycopter all morning long covering the situation, and we get the latest from him.
Okay.
Chris, we're up over the scene still out here in Hall County. About a 10-mile stretch of destruction, about a half-mile wide, headed out of central Hall County up to the northeast towards the Habersham and White County line. Houses completely demolished, chicken houses flattened by the weather that moved through here, and parts of the Lanier School completely demolished out here in North Hall County.
Yeah, that was one of the first things we saw when we got over the scene in the Channel 2 Skycopter this morning at Lanier School at Highway 60. Some very severe damage at the school with part of the roof ripped off, Highway 60 completely shut down. Right now we have a live look at some homes that have been damaged in the area along one of the secondary routes up in Hall County, and as you can see, not much traffic getting through. A lot of emergency crews have been on the scene. Traffic has been stacked up for miles in some cases on Highway 53 over near Lake Lanier. And you know, Warren, that is a big cut through for folks heading between Dawsonville up in North Forsyth County and heading over into Gainesville along Highway 53. And a lot of traffic is along that area, and it has been shut down in some points. And you can see one home just absolutely leveled. Just looks like somebody just came down and stepped on it. I mean, it is how strong these storms are. And then again, you can have a house right next to it with no damage or very little damage and just some debris in the yard. So an amazing scene that we've continued to bring you live here up in Hall County from the Channel 2 Skycopter. You're continuing to look at some horrible damage. Emergency crews are on the scene helping those that perhaps might have been injured in this storm. We do, of course, have fatalities we've been warning you about, unfortunately, that were caused by these powerful storms that move through. I want to run back down some highways that are closed and are blocked by storm damage right now. That's Highway 53, Highway 129, and Highway 60 over near the Lanier School, so you need to keep that in mind. For now, I'm Chris Monroe in the Traffic Center. Warren, back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. A correction we have to pass on to you. We told you earlier that a superintendent of Hall County Schools closed all schools. We're told now only North Hall schools are closed. Only schools in North Hall County are closed for the day. We regret any confusion that may have caused. Karen is at the maps once again with the very latest. Karen?
Well, Warren, the weather seems to be calming. The county is now into North Carolina, and that cell is beginning to dissipate now. That's the one that caused the destruction. Behind it, cooler air is undercutting that very warm, moist air that was across the state this morning, and it is helping to calm things down a little bit. We'll still have a few scattered showers out there, but no severe weather at this time, although until 1 o'clock this afternoon, counties along the state line of South Carolina into the city of Toccoa is included in there as well, are under a tornado watch. Toccoa, right on in this area, continue to see a possibility of some storms developing, but none right now. And all of the rain across Rabun County is just on the light nature, and we can see some around White County and also across Lake Lanier. A few showers are still there, but that's it. Not any severe nature storms going on at this point. I'll keep an eye on it for you. The cold front is cutting across the state. I'll let you know if there's any possible danger out there. At this point, all of the weather just seems to be in the form of some lighter rain showers. Warren?
All right. right, Karen, thank you. And again, recapping for those of you who are just joining us at 8:14, tornado touchdown in Hall and White counties this morning about 6:30. As you can see here live through our Skycam aboard News Chopper 2, that the damage is extensive, widespread, one fatality confirmed, numerous injuries. We're told that all schools in North Hall County are closed for the day. We're also told that there is a baby missing in Hall County, and that, of course, emergency crews are working on that. Emergency crews setting up some sort of command post, a triage center, if you will, at the Amoco at Highway 129 South along the Hall-White County line. As we've been noting all morning long, the force, I mean, it came so quickly. The warning, it wasn't very much warning there, but it came so quickly. Some of the houses were blown off their foundations. A number of chicken coops, scattered debris. Lanier Elementary School, the roof blown off the building. Fortunately, it happened before classes began. No students in the building. We're told, however, one person was trapped in rubble there. The stepdaughter of, possibly the stepdaughter of a custodian there. We're checking on that, and that may lend some understanding as to why that person might have been in that school. We are also telling you that there's Highway 53, Highway 60, Highway 129 closed. And Chris Monroe has been covering all of that for us in the traffic center. He's keeping us up to date with information as far as traffic is concerned and how that is going to affect this area in Gainesville and Hall and White counties. Again, weather is very calm right now because the system almost left as quickly as it came, and a number of injuries, and we're certainly keeping you up to date with as much information as we possibly can with Channel 2 Action News crews on their way, and we will have a live report from the ground just as soon as they are in place. Chris, anything interesting from your vantage point or from what you can tell from your communication with Jason Durden?
Well, really, it's been pretty much status quo since the bulk of this storm moved through, Warren. You know, as we've been telling you, a lot of damage caused by the powerful storms, what believed to be some tornado touchdowns in the area up in Hall County, especially around Highway 60 and the Lanier Elementary School, also on Highway 53 near Lake Sidney Lanier, and those are really our most damaged areas. This cut apparently about a 10-mile wide swath through this area, and sometimes, you know, where you get these storms, they'll kind of come down and cause damage here and then kind of come up and come out. This has really been kind of a consistent flow of damage from what we've seen coming back from the Channel 2 chopper as well this morning. So certainly you want to avoid that area. They're urging you to stay away from this area of Hall County. We'll continue to bring live updates from the scene. I'm Chris Monroe reporting live.
All right, Chris, thank you. And certainly we can understand why emergency crews would want to keep that area clear. It's just bad enough. I mean, some of the traffic and the people who perhaps weren't aware of the situation, who drove right into it, who may be trapped right now just because of the fluster of activity right now. I understand from Joe Menares, our director, we have a map of some of this, the area that was affected. Here we are, Hall County, Rabun County, basically, which is where this cell, as Karen has been telling us, moved on to and beyond, and no damage that we know of right now. Any reports of any damage in Rabun County? Do we have any? Haven't not heard of any
at this point, Warren.
Okay.
That cell has moved on at this point.
Okay. Anything that you can add to it?
I can show you where that cell was, where it began, and where it has headed at this point. We'll let this recycle again, and this goes back a few hours to earlier this morning. This is the cell that made its way through Hall County this morning that caused the destruction. It's now well into South Carolina, so it's gone. And the area of low pressure up to the north is still making its circulation and pulling a lot of cool air that's cutting underneath that very warm, moist air, giving it that lift and the instability that this system needs. And as it moves off to the northeast, the folks beyond this area are going to get the possible severe weather, while our weather is going to become a little bit more stable. The cold front itself is still going to be cutting across the state for us this morning as that cold air pulls in. And we might even see a few breaks in those clouds. We'll take a look at our early warning Doppler 2 radar just to show you how things are looking right now. We've taken the bigger view, and you notice that it's very quiet across the metro area. Just a few light showers here in town, and around Lake Lanier and Hall County, just a few light showers at this point. And again, the same story up across Rabun County through the city of Clayton. All is very quiet right now. No watches or warning locally nor any up across this area through Hall County, but there is a tornado watch out in effect until 1 o'clock this morning for portions of East Georgia that butt up against the state line of South Carolina. That's the latest that we have. No warnings or other watches out in this region right now. I'll let you know if there are any, and I'll keep you updated through the morning.
All right, Karen, thank you. And as Chris Monroe, who is in the traffic center, has been sitting, amid an array of monitors, tells us I think the damage is about, a swath of 10 miles, in circumference there. This is the damage there. And giving you just a small recap of what we have been hearing and the information that we've received so far. Tornado touched down about 6:30 this morning in Hall and White counties. This is tape right now, recorded earlier from Skycam aboard News Chopper 2. The information that we receive here, one person dead, others injured after this tornado touched down about 6:30. Lanier Elementary School, right in the path of this tornado in Hall County, damaged. And by some accounts, totally destroyed. The roof just wiped off of this building, and one person trapped in rubble there. And we are finding out that this is in this right here, North Hall High School right now. No word on it if any damage is involved here, but we can tell you that all schools in North Hall County are closed for the day. Chris Monroe is in the traffic center with the very latest on traffic and how emergency crews are trying to keep people out of the area and try to get people who were passing through the area who may not have known about this and just drove right into it and trying to find the best alternate routes for them to get out of there. Chris.
All right, thanks a lot, Warren. And you mentioned schools being closed. That's because we have a lot of roads closed in the Hall County, White County, and North Forsyth County area this morning. And these are major thoroughfares that take traffic between the areas of Gainesville and the Cumming and Dawsonville area, like State Route 53, which has been shut down. That's one of the first things that we brought you this morning as we came up on the storm damage in the Channel 2 Skycopter, where Highway 53 was shut down near Lake Lanier as a tree came across the roadway, apparently smashed into a car, and that's caused quite a mess on 53 in both directions. They're asking that you avoid those roadways in Hall County and completely stay away if you can, and to suspend all travel until further notice. Highway 60 up near the school that was damaged earlier is also completely blocked, as is Highway 129, the Cleveland Highway, which is a big thoroughfare between the Cumming area and downtown Gainesville at this point. So quite a bit of damage, as you can see. Once again, we're bringing you these live shots from the Channel 2 Skycopter. Just a lot of destruction in a large path caused by these storms this morning. Some homes, some chicken coops, just completely leveled up there this morning, Warren. It's been an amazing sight as we continue to come upon more and more damage up through Hall County and the White County area north of Gainesville. I want to bring you up to date as well on a couple of Metro Atlanta problems that we have working on the interstates that are just into the traffic center. We have reports of a tractor-trailer accident if you're going to be making your commute out of Cobb County anytime soon on I-75 southbound around Windy Hill Road and Delk Road, and quite a bit of slow traffic now heading down from Highway 5 and I-575. Several lanes of Interstate 75 may be completely blocked, so I wanted to throw that in if you're coming in from Cobb County. We're going to continue to bring you pictures like this, which was one of our first pictures shot coming up on the school here that was damaged off of Highway 60. Highway 60 again continues to be completely shut down up in that area as emergency crews try to do their job and get in there and start the very initial parts of cleanup and getting the roadways clear so that traffic can pass back through. They ask that you suspend travel and avoid all traffic through those areas as they're shut down anyway, and there's not much that you can do to get through the area. Really, Warren, not a lot of alternates to get through this area. Most of these roadways are pretty direct and are just adjacent to some very small side streets or neighborhood streets. Not a lot of ways to get around this, so they're asking that you just avoid travel altogether so that they don't have to try to manage the traffic backups as well as the damage, and they can assist those that are injured in this or that may need assistance otherwise because of these storms that have moved through.
All right, Chris, thank you. And as you pointed out, as far as the phenomenal force of some of these storms here, and
you come upon this scene right here again. Lanier Elementary is virtually destroyed, most of it. Also, Thompson Bridge Road, this is Highway 60, is at a standstill. You can see trees are down, and it's amazing. There's some livestock below us, and it appears the livestock survived this thing, so if there's any good news on this, but this thing must have come through here quickly and absolutely without warning. And tornadoes, and I was raised in Ohio, and I know how devastating they can be and how quickly that they can take place. In fact, I think we're going to be approaching some more damage right here, right in front of us, Chris. If you can see it, some trees are down. They have absolutely been leveled. It looks like someone took a humongous steamroller and just rolled over these huge pine trees. This is an unbelievable sight as we approach it, and it looks like this is the path that took up to White County. Again, we just did approach the area, but this is off Thompson Bridge Road, and it's a swath that came right to the northeast and headed up to White County. But we're just looking at trees. They're snapped like magic.
All right, obviously, those were live pictures from our chopper, Keith Callan, heading toward the damage in Hall County. Most of that damage was in South Hall County, Lanier Elementary School. The good news this morning is that all of this happened before school started today, so there were no children in school. We have been told that all schools have been canceled in Hall County for the day as emergency crews assess the damage there. There has been one fatality confirmed. Apparently, a tree fell on a truck, so one fatality confirmed in Hall County. Possibility at this point that it looks like this was a tornado that took sort of a northeast track and moved very quickly through that area. We do have crews that are on the scene and will bring us the very latest throughout the morning, and of course the latest coming up at noon today. And we'll have more on all of this coming up in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away.
Folks down there, that's all we saw. They must be possibly inside of the store there, but just a lot of crews in the area, and that's one thing they need to watch out for, because they're still just kind of running around up here looking for trouble, that they're just out looking for it, you know.
Okay, Jason, and any word on as far as the highways? You said on the highways are shut down. Would it run through those highways again?
We've seen Highway 53 closed just east of where it crosses over Lake Lanier, over just west of the Gainesville city limits. Highway 60 out at the Lanier School just north of Gainesville, completely shut down right now. Of course, this is the scene of where it looks like the tornado touched down for the second time, then started its path of destruction to parts of this school just completely gone. And Highway 29, where they had set up that triage area, was shut down right there, so emergency crews can get in and out.
All right, Jason, thank you. Jason Durden, our pilot aboard News Chopper 2. We're the first above that scene right now. Sally Sears on her way, and she is on the phone. Sally, what can you tell us?
Good morning. I have just passed Georgia 400 all the way up north, where there is absolutely no problem at all. It looks like this tornado came out of the sky, if in fact it was a tornado, and decided to skip most of Forsyth County and just give Hall County a bruising. We have crossed over the northern tip of Lake Lanier, and we're headed toward Wahoo Creek. That's where they tell us the damage is the worst. That is the northernmost creek that feeds into Lake Lanier. Lanier Elementary School is right there. And just a few minutes ago, our friends at WDUN Radio, Scott Grant, told me that the custodian, who may have arrived early to open up the schools, young child, has been lost underneath one of those portable classrooms that picked up and got thrown around in this high wind. We will be there in a few minutes. We are on Price Road now, headed into that area. That's the Murrayville part of northern Hall County, if you know that part of it. You go up, if you're from Atlanta, you know this area, you go up north past the Premium Outlet Mall, and then suddenly you're back in rural Georgia, and we're winding our way through chicken houses and along country roads, and we just haven't seen much yet. Some trees are down, some limbs are across the street, but apparently it began first at the elementary school, and that's where we're headed.
All right, okay. Sally, thank you, and be sure to get in touch with us, as I know you will once you get there. Sally Sears reporting live for us, and she is on her way on the phone. Or actually, she's in a truck on the phone. Again, recapping what we have been covering for you all morning long. A tornado touchdown, 6:30 this morning between Hall and White counties. You're looking at some of the damage recorded earlier from News Chopper 2, Skycam aboard News Chopper 2. Jason Durden, our pilot, the first above the scene. Widespread damage, about a 10-mile radius. Lake Lanier Elementary School near Lake Lanier was right in the path of this devastating tornado. They were told that this building is destroyed, one person trapped in the rubble, one fatality confirmed, and we've got a number of highways that are closed down and emergency crews working or trying to keep people out of that area and urging people to stay in their homes who are in there, those who still have those, and those who are outside the area to stay out of that area. Chris, anything you can add?
Yeah, absolutely, Warren. Again, they are urging folks to stay away from these highways that have been damaged. You know, a lot of folks, when this happens, we do get people that like to, unfortunately, go out and kind of sightsee the damage, and that just hampers the efforts of the emergency crews trying to get in and assist those that may be injured, that haven't been located yet, some of those that might need other types of help getting out and through these storms, some of the roadways that are closed, and if they have to deal with extra traffic and that kind of situation, it just hampers their efforts. So they are asking folks to please stay away from Halding County right now, especially especially if you don't have any business traveling up there. And even if you do, they're asking that you suspend your travel until further notice and at a later time this morning until they can begin some of the cleanup efforts along the highways. Again, we want to run down some of the roadways that have been affected up there in Hall County and across over into Forsyth County this morning and near Lake Lanier as the storm cut its path through, including Highway 53, Highway 129, and Highway 60. And Highway 60 was closed almost immediately as that storm came through and strode that damage over across the roadway from the school. Part of the roof ripped off of that school this morning, so it's quite a mess. And again, Warren, as you said, I believe all Hall County schools have been suspended today.
North Hall County schools.
North Hall County, okay. That's certainly good information this morning. If you're going to be trying to get out of that area, we also have problems as well on the 400 around Northridge. A lot of folks making their way in from Cumming to Lonaga and Dawsonville and Alpharetta this morning down the 400. That's just going to add in.
And you can see the devastation from Keith's report. Keith, stay with us. We'll check with you in just a second. In the meantime, we want to go to
Jay Ariano, who is headed that way. Jay, where are you right now? Have you made it there yet?
Greer and Paul, we're just a few miles away, but I've got some unfortunate news to report. I just talked to one of the public information officers on the scene, source of mine. Art Chiton is his name, from the Hall County Sheriff's Department. He has informed me now they have 5 confirmed fatalities, one of them a child. Authorities on the scene are saying it was, in their estimation, definitely a tornado. In his words, a devastating, deadly tornado that caused an awful lot of damage. He said it's almost like a triage unit at one high school. They are bringing people in. There are paramedics from all over surrounding counties are lending help. But again, the awful news that he said, we have 5 confirmed fatalities. He said scores of people injured. They don't even have a grip on how many people are injured yet because the devastation was so widespread. And he said that they are still trying to find out if there are more fatalities because of the extensive damage.
Jay, have you been able to find out if the fatalities occurred and where they occurred? Were they in the trailer home parks that we heard about initially, or these were in subdivisions?
Paul, not for sure yet, but from what he was saying, the trailer park was extremely heavily hit, and he had told me very briefly that a lot of the damage, people were trapped in homes collapsed on top of people. It hit at a time where people weren't up yet. And it almost hit without any kind of warning at all. So people had no chance to move or get to safer ground, according to these rescuers. They just said it hit and destroyed houses and everything else in its path. We're just a few miles from there. Hopefully I won't have any more bad news to bring. Maybe there's some good stories to be heard in here, but right now these people are working extremely hard to find out exactly how many people they have injured and dead.
Yeah, Jay, while you were talking, we're looking at live pictures. Keith, what is that we're looking at right now?
What is that?
Yes. Yeah, we're on the other side of the school, the back side of the school. As you can see, a shed or a garage of some sort totally devastated. And right next to it is a home with some trees on it. And you look at some, and what's the amazing thing, and if we can possibly get the shot, we're trying our best in some turbulent air right here, is that some of the homes have survived, but the trees, huge trees that may have been around for 50, 60 years, just absolutely flattened. But the homes are all right. In fact, maybe you can see this home right here. It has been undamaged, just barely was it missed by these trees that were felled. I mean, completely uprooted. Look at the size of the roots on these things. I mean, the devastating power of nature sometimes is so awe-inspiring it defies description. But just looking at this area, and again, you made a very good point, Paul and Gravier, if you do not have to be anywhere on Thompson Bridge Road, this is Highway 60 north of the lake, please, these people need to get to and from. In fact, Jay, it's going to be kind of difficult, I'm sure, for some of our news crews to get in and out, and they're going to be having to do their best. But Highway 60 is absolutely packed right now, and I don't know how many of these people really necessarily need to be here, but we need to clear the road as much as possible. As you see this devastation, maybe this is a better illustration of how important it is that we get emergency vehicles to help these people try to clean up. But this is unbelievable. I've seen a lot in 11 years, but I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
Keith, unfortunately, a lot of the damage that occurs in situations like this are at trailer home parks and mobile home parks. Have you been able to find at least either a park, a mobile home park, where the fatalities that Jay was talking about might have occurred?
I think if we go to the right, I think basically we have hung around the Highway 60 area. If we follow this path, we understand it's about 6 miles long. We may find some as we head to White County, and we'll endeavor to do that in just a little bit. But this is just north of Gainesville. Again, it's Lanier Elementary School has just been rocked. I mean, and you talk about timing being everything. I mean, if this had happened, 2 hours later, you shudder to think what may have happened. But we're going to try to look for some more of the extensive damage. But again, as I look down at some of the subdivisions, it's like nothing happened, and then the house next door is absolutely devastated.
Yeah, Keith, all right, thanks very much. We'll We'll stick with you and come back in just a little bit. All right, thanks, Keith. And again, we want to tell you that now 5 confirmed fatalities from a source of Jay Ariano's. That's just unbelievable.
Incredible. I wonder if we do have Robert Garrett on the phone?
Yes.
From North Hall High School. Is that where you are right now, Robert?
Pastor Garrett.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell us when you were called into service and what happened exactly?
Well, about 6:30 this morning, early in the morning, I was wakened by heavy rains and wind, and got up, and then I got the call from Josh there, and then we got out moving around, going down Thompson Bridge Road towards the Lanier School. Couldn't go down through there because there was so much traffic. Turned and went over to North Hall School, and they routed you out over there. There are trees down all over the place. There's heavy, just mobile homes are just demolished over that way. There's nothing left of them. Power lines down, trees down, emergency crew just everywhere.
Yeah. Pastor Garrett, are any members of you're the pastor at Murrayville Congregation Church, or any members of your congregation, have you been able to talk to them? Were they affected by the storm?
Yes, I talked to a few of them. As of now, nobody has been hurt in the church at all. We came by a couple of houses there that was in the path of the tornado, but didn't touch their house there.
We're hearing reports, Pastor, of some fatalities, possibly as many as 5. Would you know in what area that would be around Murrayville?
No, I've heard, now this is just hearsay, that there's someone trapped in Lanier Elementary School now. I don't know that to be a fact, but that's what I've heard. All
right. Pastor Robert Garrett, thanks a lot for joining us this morning.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with the very latest.
Because at a time like this, you don't want to contribute to the problem. You want to be part of the solution.
Absolutely. Sally, can you tell me what highway you're on?
We're on Highway 60. It's called the Thompson Bridge Road, and it's headed south from Murrayville toward Sidney Lanier. Wahoo Creek is the area where we think the tornado first touched down. And that may sound like an old southern joke, but that's really the name of the creek that forms the northern impoundment of Lake Lanier. The elementary schools on one side of that creek, and North Hall High and middle schools are on the other side. It is just the schools in North Hall that have been closed, and this is the only part of the county, we're told, where there's much damage.
All right, okay, Sally Sears reporting live for us on the phone on her way to the scene. Thank you, Sally. All right, recapping now, 8:36 for those of you who are just joining us. We have been following since 6:30 this morning, actually, a tornado warning that a tornado that touched down on Hall and White counties early this morning. 1 fatality confirmed. Several people are injured. This Lanier Elementary School, which was right in the path of this tornado, destroyed. A roof has been pulled off of there, and we want to certainly tell you that there's a triage that has been set up at the Abaco station on 129 South and Hall and White County lines there. Anyone out there who may be in earshot of my voice, who may be near this scene or may know something, you can pick up and certainly dial into our newsroom at *2 on your Bell South Mobility phone, or you can use these phone numbers right here to call in with any information that you may have. We'd certainly like to hear your accounts. If you were in the area about this time, these numbers right here will get you straight into our newsroom. Chris Monroe, the Traffic Center, with the very latest on traffic. Chris?
Well, let's bring you up to date, certainly on this situation, Warren, where it has been just some serious destruction up in the north side of the metro Atlanta area in Hall County and Forsyth and White counties, as we've been telling you. We need to get a bird's eye view, first of all, and kind of describe the destruction for you. The person that was first over the scene and has been providing these live reports is Jason Durden. He's up in the Channel 2 Skycopter. And Jason, kind of run down for us what you see and as far as the traffic situation is concerned.
Chris, it is an absolute mess out through here. As far as destruction is concerned, it looks like the bulk of it starting at the Lanier School on Highway 60, stretching about 10 miles to the northeast, stretching across pastures, houses completely demolished. The wood and debris scattered around here about a half-mile wide throughout this path of destruction. Just absolutely amazing. Traffic-wise, of course, Highway 60 shut down. Highway 129's been shut down, as well as a lot of smaller roads. Folks just need to not be driving right now. The backups aren't that severe. Hopefully everybody everybody staying at home as they make their way around. Chris?
Yeah, we certainly hope so, Jason, and that's what Hall County authorities, Rescue, Georgia State Patrol, and the Sheriff's Department are urging people to do up there, is to completely stay off of the roadway. Some of these homes just completely demolished, as you said, and an obviously very terrifying situation. They're trying to respond to a lot of calls, and they need to, get to, and that's why they're asking you not to overload the roads with traffic up there, and that's why you need to stay away. Warren, we're going to continue to cover this situation from the Channel 2 Skycopter, and we'll have more reports as they become available. Warren, back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. And we have our first caller on the air, Steve Mothershed from Forsyth County. Good morning. What can you tell us?
Oh, well, we got up this morning, the wind blowing, it woke me up because we had the windows open, and I looked out and there was golf ball size hailstones hitting the ground. That's what actually woke me up, and wind was quite tremendous here. The house actually probably shook pretty bad. From what we can tell by looking at the news, it just went to about north of me on Highway 53. I'm actually at Highway 53 and 306.
I can imagine it happened quite quickly.
It was really bad. So the wind got up, and I went to grab my wife and kids, and they were already up at the time, and we were heading for the basement. Believe me, the wind was pretty tremendous over here.
And your family's okay this morning?
Everybody's fine, yes.
Very well. And what about around your area? Any evidence of any damage?
I haven't got out right around the house here. There's no damage, but definitely about 2 miles north of 53 is where it crossed, and it's pretty bad from what y'all are showing.
All right, Mr. Mothershed, thank you very much for calling. Glad your family's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And do we have another caller from Gainesville? Hillary Gray, good morning.
Hi. I had to go get my boyfriend this morning because he had a flat tire, and I was at Highway 60, and I was right after it. I mean, it went right across Lanier right before I came up. If I'd been 2 minutes ahead, it would have hit me. I mean, the devastation was just horrible. There were trees everywhere and houses. There were roofs across the road. I mean, it was just amazing.
Hillary, are you from this area?
Yes, I graduated from North Hall High School.
Ever seen anything like this before in your area?
No, I've never seen anything this bad.
Well, I'm glad that you're okay. Thank you very much for your call.
Bye-bye.
And these are some of the people that... All right, another caller into our newsroom. Natalie Moorhead, good morning.
Good morning.
What can you tell us? Where were you at the time that this tornado touched down, or just before, or just after?
I was sitting eating breakfast, and I heard like a whistling sound, and I couldn't see it, but there was lightning all around, and it like went dead silent, and then there was like a roaring sound, and I thought it was a tornado, and my dad's like, no, it's just wind, and it ended up being that because it was like 6:30.
About 6:30 is when the tornado warning actually, just before then, actually when it came into our newsroom here. What about the area around your home right now? What can you tell us about that?
I live off of Mount Vernon Road, and there's like trees down all over the place. I live right near the high school, and there's like trailers everywhere. It's pretty terrible.
Ever seen any destruction like that before?
No, I have not.
Well, we're certainly glad that you and your daughter are okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling in. Other calls calling in. We certainly appreciate your calls, your accounts of the destruction in the area. Caller on the line, good morning. Okay. And here we're looking at pictures here recorded earlier this morning, just after the damage from this tornado. Recorded by Skycam aboard News Chopper 2. Jason Durden, the pilot there. 1 fatality confirmed in Hall County. Countless injuries. Right now, no count on how many injuries there are, but we can tell you that the damage is widespread. By one account from our helicopter pilot, Jason Durden, about a 10-mile radius of information, a number of chicken houses, scattered debris all over there. Some houses that have been blown off their foundations, dump trucks overturned, and houses virtually next door untouched. And it just speaks to the unpredictability of this weather phenomenon. We can tell you that all schools in North Hall County are closed for the day. All schools in North Hall County are closed for the day. Several roads shut down completely. Highway 50, Highway 60, and Highway 53 shut down, and emergency medical crews have set up a triage at the Amoco on the Hall-White County line on 129 south. We do have Channel 2 Action News crews on the way, but you can imagine that it's difficult to negotiate some of the traffic there, of course, with certainly emergency crews trying to keep people out of the area and trying to get people that are there to stay in their homes right now. You're looking at a lot of the damage that is just, I mean, it's unbelievable damage that's widespread. And Don from Forsyth is on the phone right now. Don, what can you tell us?
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. My name is Don. I'm in Forsyth County. Boy, I've been watching you guys' coverage this morning. It's really good, and I appreciate it. But, you know, I've not seen one mobile home, as you guys call them, damaged. I see a lot of houses all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been called manufactured homes since about 1982.
Oh, I don't know that we've mentioned any mobile homes. We've mentioned chicken houses.
and trailer houses. And you guys are not going to stop until you ferret out a trailer park.
Okay, Mr. Don, thank you very much for your call and your input. We certainly appreciate it. We're told that one person is dead. That fatality happened when a tree hit this person while they were in their car.
Debris or the tornado itself, and was killed at that scene.
Important to point out that this happened at 6:30 in the morning before the buses had started dropping children off, so the only people that were at the school would probably have been support personnel, that sort of thing, or perhaps a couple of teachers. All right.
Yeah. Okay, those folks there clearly dodged a bullet. If that
storms passed through and caused this mass devastation and destruction up in Hall County. As you're looking at video right now that we've been shooting over the scene of Hall County, where quite a bit of destruction has been caused by this. You can just see the amount of debris that has been scattered across these open fields by these storms, and vehicles overturned, vehicles as large as dump trucks toppled like they were little toy vehicles thrown around by a kid. You know, it's just unbelievable the power of these storms as they pass through the area. We really don't realize it until we see video like this, where houses have been just completely leveled. 1 minute standing, the next minute just completely leveled to the ground. And, you know, the authorities are trying right now. We understand we've been monitoring Hall County Sheriff and fire rescue authorities, as well as Georgia State Patrol. They've called in quite a few units up here. And we understand they've been trying to go house to house and try to make sure that everybody got out. And some of these houses that are leveled, Warren, that there wasn't anybody trapped in there, you know, to make sure that everybody was safe and was able to get out of the house. Okay, that is causing you know, quite a bit of time, using quite a bit of time, and they're asking that so that they can conduct this kind of investigation and they can conduct their cleanup efforts and rescue efforts, that you stay away from the area, because Highway 53, Highway 60, and Highway 129 have been affected. Of course, one of the worst hit areas was the school that we showed you up there earlier at Highway 60 and Thompson Bridge Road, which just completely almost destroyed. I mean, the roof ripped off of it, and just a major situation up in Gwinnett, or rather Hall County right now, and we are continuing to cover the situation. Warren, back to you in the studio.
All right, Chris, thank you. Fortunately, that happened before classes began this morning, so no children were in the school this morning. Finn Percy, Channel 2 Action News photographer, on the phone. Finn?
That's right, Warren. Well, we're here on Highway 306, just southwest of Gainesville, where an accident occurred, a very freak accident, which we believe is weather-related. About the time the storm came into this area, a tree was blown across Highway 306. A gentleman swerved his vehicle, ran off the road, was not injured. Dawson County Sheriff's deputy stopped to aid this motorist when she unfortunately got out of her vehicle and was struck by a third vehicle. She was declared dead on the scene. All we know right now is it was a female Dawson County Sheriff's deputy. And that scene has been cleared. Traffic is thickening up as we move on to Highway 60, just north of Gainesville.
All right, Finn Percy, Channel 2 Action News photographer, reporting live for us over the phone. Thank you, Finn. And I understand that we have some details that could pretty much put this in perspective of what we've been telling you for the past hour or so. North of Gainesville, this tornado touched down about 6:30. Now, we've got 5 dead there. This is according to the Hall County Sheriff. Of course, we're only getting confirmation of at least 1 dead. So we're working on confirming the number of casualties as we have it right now. Roads closed: Highway 50, Highway 53, Highway 60, Highway 129, which is actually 129 south at the Hall-White County line, the scene of a triage set up by emergency medical crews. And Lanier Elementary, which was in the path, directly in the path of this tornado. damaged. For as far as we can tell, the roof blown off of this school, one person possibly trapped in the rubble. We've got Sarah on the phone right now. And Sarah, good morning. What can you tell us?
Yes, my father-in-law, he's helping somebody out who's trapped in the school. There's trees blown through it, and a tornado touched down right up the road from our house. It's tore up a lot of homes, trees across the road, power lines, and demolished a whole garage. The roofs and all is laying everywhere, and he's there cutting somebody out now.
Really? Where were you at about the time that this all this happened?
Getting ready to take my husband to work.
And what can you tell us about the
road is very impassable out through here.
Can you tell us about what you heard, what you saw?
It was just a lot of lightning and all, and then it was raining, and then all at once everything got real still, and then the wind, it picked up, started blowing, then it got calm again and just went straight on the road.
Okay, Sarah, thank you very much for calling in. We really appreciate it. I'm glad that you and your family are okay. And so you're looking at the damage over here, that some of the damage so widespread, and as you can tell, Jason Durden, our photographer up there, said about 10-mile radius, but as you can see, the effects of this far beyond that. Jason, what can you tell us? Good morning. Jeremy? Yeah. Jeremy, I'm sorry.
Jeremy.
Good morning, Jeremy.
Hi. Yeah, I live about a quarter mile from Lanier School,
and
my grandmother lives right in front of it. And, I mean, it's just a complete war zone that Lanier looks like. There's just trees everywhere, and it looks really bad. And luckily, my grandparents were all right, but they just said that at about like a little after 6, they saw rain and lightning, and they heard something. But by the time they got in their closet, it was all already over. So they got pretty lucky there.
Well, indeed. And were you able to hear a lot of the commotion before the tornado touched down?
You know, I woke up at like 6:05. My alarm went off, and I looked outside, and it was lightning and raining, but I didn't hear anything. So I just went back to bed, and I woke up. My grandmother called me a little later and said a tornado went through. So she lived in front of it. We went over there and just looked across the street, and it was just completely messed up over there.
Well, fortunately, your grandmom's okay.
Yes.
And we certainly appreciate your call. That certainly speaks to what Karen spoke to earlier and what Chris Monroe has spoken about earlier as far as the unpredictability of these storms and how they can completely blow a building off of its foundation and leave one virtually right next door to it untouched. We have another caller on the air, Paula Smith. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
We live, I'd say probably less than a mile from Lanier Elementary, and we heard it come through about 6:30, and it definitely sounded like a freight train. I think that we probably just got the wind and the downdrafts. It took quite a bit of shingles off the roof, and it uplifted several trees, and in fact, what surprised me was it took my son's swing set totally up out of the ground and threw it across the yard. And it didn't even hit us head on. So I'm sure that the school is probably pretty damaged.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering, I know that you live near the school, Lanier School there.
Yes, my son goes to Lanier School.
So in all likelihood, I mean, what time do classes begin there?
They begin at 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock.
So yeah, they were, I mean, if it's going to hit, it hit at a good time.
It hit at a good time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so your family's okay? Your home is okay?
Well, it's a little damaged, but it's not. I mean, we don't have any rain or anything coming through. We just lost, it uplifted part of the roof and took a lot of shingles off. But that's all the damage it did to the house.
Okay.
It took a couple of trees out of the ground. That was really surprising.
Do you recall how you rooted or how you grounded your son's swing set? Was it cemented in the ground?
I don't think it was cement. I think there is a thing you can get that makes like a cement, but it's not cement. It's not as strong.
Nonetheless, it was a powerful storm that was able to rip that out of the ground.
Oh, it was a powerful storm. I've never seen. Yeah, most definitely. It was most definitely a powerful storm. In fact, I was surprised when our power came back on. I was watching your show, and I did not realize that it had caused as much damage as widespread as it did. But, yeah, it was pretty powerful. When my husband left for work, he called and he said that the mobile home that's up from us, that it tore their roof up, and the insulation was in front of our driveway. So it was pretty powerful. We live, I guess probably a couple of streets from 60. We're about a little less than a mile from the school.
Well, we're certainly glad that you and your family are okay.
We're fine.
Thank you, Paula.
Okay.
Okay. And for those of you who are calling into the newsroom, before you call to the newsroom, your loved ones would like to know that you're okay, particularly if you live in this area in Hall and White counties. So when you get a chance, you have some loved ones in the area who would love to know that you are okay and that you have survived this storm. We are getting news crossing the wires right now that five people are confirmed dead from this tornado early this morning. Again, 5 people now confirmed dead from this tornado. And it struck northern Hall County about 6.
We're hearing now the devastation and the damage is absolutely incredible. This county has really been hit by these tornadoes this morning. We will have more information as it becomes available. Reporting live from North Hall County High School, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 Eyewitness News.
All right, Angelique.
Thank you, Angelique.
All right.
We're beginning to get a sense now of the sticks and the rubble that you see were homes, were trailer home
Isn't
parks.
That amazing?
It's incredible when you go out there and just see the devastation.
Yeah.
We're getting great pictures from Keith Callan and Angelique's eyewitness account
right.
there.
And you know, I think we need to mention again that they're still looking for people that may be not accounted for.
Exactly.
Hopefully,
Exactly.
we'll pray that the fatalities don't go up.
And we have now confirmed a report of the child or the student that's dead was at North Hall High School, I believe. Yeah. So we'll be updating you on that situation. And are we going with it? Okay. Also, we want to let you know we're going to be staying on past 9 o'clock. This situation is becoming more serious by the minute, and we're going to be keeping you updated, of course, throughout the morning right here on Fox 5.
All right. Why don't we take a break, and we'll be back in just a couple of seconds.
5 people confirmed dead from this tornado that touched down Hall and White counties about 6:30 this morning, right in its path. Lanier Elementary School near Lake Lanier, part of its roof ripped off. Before classes began, fortunately, no kids were in the school. We're told one person trapped in rubble. As we can hear from a number of accounts, at least one of the fatalities occurred when one tree hit a person while they were in the car. It speaks to the power of this storm. The damage widespread. A number of chicken houses, of course, Gainesville, Hall County, this area up here, a large poultry industry, and a number of chicken houses just totally.
Halsey, we appreciate your time. The good news is the severe weather has moved out of the state for the most part.
It looks like everything is quieting down. We still have the tornado watch in effect for the northeastern portion of the state. This is the extreme northeastern portion where they've had all the problems. And the one city that's involved is Tacoma.
Well, I got here.
Yes.
That's the message.
They called you and said...
No, I got here right after it hit. I didn't hear about it until I leave my house. I'm 30 minutes away, so I was on the way here.
And what did you see when you arrived?
All the destruction.
How did that make you feel? You knew the students were coming to class.
I knew we had people here, so I checked on the people first.
Yes. I understand that there's a custodian and a wife who live here and in the mobile home that was hurt. What about them and how are they?
Checked on them first. They've gone to the hospital. They're okay.
Who are they?
It was not his wife, it's his daughter.
Oh, good.
Albert Payne.
Mr. Payne's okay.
Mr. Payne's okay.
And Mr. Payne's daughter is how old? What's her name?
I don't know.
But she's okay, too.
Right, and she's not a child. She's probably in her 60s. He's elderly.
Oh.
Okay, it's not a child.
Okay, well, we've had all sorts of information out here, and now we're getting to the heart of it. The child turns out to be a 60-year-old, not trapped under a mobile home here at Lanier Elementary, but instead is fine and with her dad.
Right.
And they're going to be okay?
Yes, they're okay.
What can you tell me about the truck driver who was in the white truck when the storm hit?
I can't. We just need to wait on that.
Okay. And what do you want your students to know? How many of them are there? And what do you want them to know about nature from this?
We have 585 students at Lanier, and they are wonderful. Parents are here, kids are here. They want to know that the teachers are safe, and I just want everybody to know that we're safe. We're blessed by God to all be safe.
Was anyone else in the building when this happened?
Mr. Payne was in the building.
And Mr. Payne's okay?
And Mr. Payne's okay.
No other teachers here? No.
It was about 6:25, and the first teachers get here about 20 till 7.
So most of them were on the way, but we're
On the
not
way.
specifically here. How about lunchroom workers?
No one was here.
Okay, thank you very much. This is the principal of Lanier Elementary with some of her students. I'd love to talk to you two in just a second, but first let me get Karen Sawyer here to show you this truck behind us. Just in front of the school, you can see all the twisted damage behind it. There's our Ross Cabot getting out of the way. There is a white truck turned upside down. It was running on the road out here, they tell me, just as the high winds hit. Picked that truck up, turned it upside down, and threw it into the building. We are told that the driver of that truck did not survive, and we are told that he is the fatality at this school. That, again, is not official, but that's what we have been told as we got here, and we can now confirm from the principal that no school personnel were injured. The building behind the truck, you can see a twisted mass of red girders and a roof that's fallen over. That was the gym, they say, and there's a new classroom wing behind it. That roof was ripped off. This is a higher part of northern Hall County than we've seen before, and that may well be why the high winds hit here instead of down lower. And across, let's see, Karen, if you can pull out wider from that, that's Lanier Elementary School, and way behind it, and just to the left of those pine trees, there's another hill, and that, we believe, is where the high school and middle school are. That is where some of the custodial people may be injured and trapped in a mobile home. It is very difficult to get around here. Karen, let's talk to some of these students who have gathered out here. Good morning. Tiffany, what's your name and what grade are you in?
Tiffany Pavisi, I'm in second grade.
At second grade, and you live right next to the school. What woke you up this morning, honey?
My dad.
And what did he say?
Get in the hall.
And he said it's raining out and the school's hurt?
No.
No.
He just said it might be a tornado.
And how about you? What kind of school is this, and do you enjoy it?
Yes.
And what grade are you in?
Second.
Second grade. Did you hear the heavy winds come over the tornado? Okay. Let me let you know that we do not officially know this is a tornado yet. It's still high winds until the Weather Service tells us it's a tornado. Pam Pavisi was at her job at Motorola when this happened. What did you see, Pam? This is Tiffany's mother.
When I come home, everything was clear. I was at work, and they told me a tornado hit at the school, and I live right next door to the school.
You live right next door?
Right there. And then I come home, and everything was clear. And then as soon as I turned around the school, that's where I saw the disaster, starting with this house over here. The trees were broke down, and the roof, and the school. God.
Now, let me get this.
Thank God that it was earlier.
Your house is right next to the school,
see that bin right there?
and it's fine?
Right, it's fine. It didn't hit. Now, right across the road from me is where it hit.
What did you hear at the Motorola plant?
All I heard was on the news that a tornado hit.
And you came running home?
Yes. As soon as I heard it was the school, I knew it was right around my house, and I come home.
And your family?
My family were safe. Tiffy went back to bed after it happened.
Goodness.
They didn't realize how much of a disaster it really hit.
That does tell us about the limited nature of the damage that it skipped about. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Ms. Pavisi.
Thank you.
Let me walk a little bit farther, if Karen can indulge me, and show you the other side of the road. There, through all the trucks and the damage and the people going down this highway, you can see plenty of trees over. It looks like this path came straight through there. Let's pass that satellite truck if we can. And you can see the White House just to the right. Those pine trees uprooted, splintered, messy, but no one hurt in that house, we're told. And of course, just a few feet north of that, up toward the town of Murrayville, there's no damage. This was a very selective wind that came through. Traffic is quite slow, and the one thing that the officers I've talked with here have asked me to make sure, I'm going to walk back toward the Lanier Elementary so you can see it. This mess behind me, you're getting a better picture from TV than you would if you were able to drive by here. They're having a little trouble with rubberneckers, people driving by to see for themselves. It's understandable if this is your school, a branch of the Hall County Libraries right here. A lot of people care about this. But the troopers and the emergency personnel over in the school behind me are asking folks to stay home and keep the media trucks out of the way so folks can get through. We're parked off on the side of the road, and we will bring you more as it becomes available But a quick recap, no one at the school injured. The custodian who lives here, an older man, probably in his 80s, and his 60-year-old daughter, both are fine or are going to be. Live at Lanier Elementary School in North Hall County, I'm Sally Sears, Channel 2 Action News.
All right, Sally, thank you. And you know, just last month was the tornado drill that we had across the state, Karen. And it's just fortunate that none of those kids who participated in that drill had to actually exercise some of what they learned there today. This apparent tornado touched down before classes began there at Lanier Elementary School. Karen, now at the maps with the latest from
down near an elementary school. I understand that the superintendent came here, assessed the damage, immediately said schools closed all the schools in northern Hall County. Okay, he was here earlier, yes, and they have not allowed us to go up to the building to see what damage because the building is unsafe at this point and they're afraid of gas leaks. How many students are here normally? What time does school open? The buses start letting the students out about 7:30. And we have about 580 students who attend Lanier Elementary. Okay, thank you so very much. As you heard, the devastation here is just absolutely incredible. The school would have been crowded with almost 600 students had it been open. The injuries and perhaps death toll would have been much higher. We are told that GEMA, the Emergency Management Agency from Hall County, of course the Red Cross, are all responding here. Georgia Power crews are on their way. Joe Johnson can show you we've got downed power lines here. All of this could have been much more dangerous than it was. Once again, here at Lanier Elementary School, the school itself is just demolished. We don't know when they'll be able to get in and do damage assessments as to actual damages, how much money we're talking about. School for now is closed. Back to you.
Steen, you know, earlier we had heard reports about a third of that school was destroyed, but from your vantage, it looks like there's almost nothing left.
Absolutely. As I described it earlier, it looks like one great big trash heap. The rubble is just all over the place, very extensive. I would say that all of the school is demolished, not a third, not two-thirds, but totally demolished here at Lanier Elementary School.
All right, Steen Miles reporting from Lanier Elementary School. Thank you so much. Keep us posted.
As we have been saying throughout, it appears that 5 people are confirmed dead in Hall County, perhaps 1 in southern White County, an unknown number of injuries, and we're not sure how many people are missing. To help us get up to speed on some of these numbers, let's go to Buzz Weiss from GEMA, who is on the phone with us now. Buzz, can you give us any clarity on how many people are dead exactly, or just the destructive path of this storm?
The tornado, of course, tornadoes touched down in both Hall and White counties and did substantial damage. At this time, we can only confirm 3 fatalities. 1 fatality in Hall County, 1 fatality in White County, and it's also understanding that a law enforcement officer from Dawson County was also killed, although we don't have any details on that. So at this time, we can only confirm 3 fatalities, but we know that there are certainly a number of other injuries and possibly some entrapments, and we are currently working on that situation to make sure the injured are transported to hospitals.
What is the standard ops of this in terms of what you guys do? What happens from here on out as far as GEMA is concerned?
Well, what we will do is to provide whatever state resources and provide and coordinate whatever state resources may be necessary to assist local authorities in this response and in the recovery phase.
All right, Buzz Weiss from GEMA, we appreciate it. We know you guys are up against it. We'll let you get back to work. Thank you very much for that update.
We're trying to get a handle on the injuries reported. So far, we have no firm numbers, but Jerry Folks, the administrator at Lanier Park Hospital, is on the phone with us now. Mr. Folks, good morning. Are you there, Mr. Folks?
Yes.
Okay. How many injuries have you had at Lanier Park Hospital come in?
We've received 14 patients in the last hour. Most of them are suffering from multiple contusions and cuts. We have at least 2 patients who are considered seriously injured, with one with a chest tube. We have had Life Flight helicopter in here, and we've been in constant communications with the other hospital in Hall County, mainly to try to keep our families and loved ones informed of where their patients are located, because there's a lot of confusion going on, as you can imagine.
Mr. Folks, where did your people come from? What particular area? Have you gotten a handle on that?
Yes, we receive patients from the North Hall High School area as well as from White County.
Have you received any of the fatalities at that hospital as well?
No, we have not.
Is your hospital, give us a feel for it, is your hospital the collecting point for everything in that region, or would other potential victims have been sent to other medical facilities?
There are several hospitals located in the general vicinity of the path of this storm system. We are one Habersham County Medical Center and Northeast Georgia Medical Center.
Okay.
Northeast Georgia is here in Gainesville.
All right. As a matter of fact, Mr. Folks, we have Amy Housey on the line from the Northeast Georgia Medical Center that you just mentioned. Ms. Housey, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. What's the extent of injuries? How many have you had transported to your facility?
We have at least 35 people that have been brought into our ER. We do not have condition reports on all those people yet, but we have been updating that list about every 30 minutes. We do have 2 that have been confirmed dead, and we are still notifying family members at this time, so we are not releasing any names right now.
Right. What type of injuries are you seeing?
I understand they're very extensive, and from what I understand, they are being updated every 30 minutes, and from reports we've heard, they're pretty severe.
All right.
Thank you very much. As you could see down there, we had some rescue vehicles. Apparently, there is some kind of a search activity going on. A lot of people are unaccounted for at this time. We'll be back in just a moment with more on the tornado or tornadoes that touched down in the northeastern part of Georgia this morning.
The tornado, I mean, obviously this has got to be, they must be in shell shock this morning. But can you kind of set the mood for us a little bit?
Certainly. So, well, of course, at this point, this is the immediate response mode that we're in, and it's not so much a matter of being able to talk one-on-one with these people. It's a matter of trying to find out if there are any victims, make sure that they are extricated, make sure that they are taken to the hospital, and make sure that the situation is responded to. And certainly, as we move from the response to the recovery phase, there'll be some opportunities to talk with these people. And certainly, this is a devastating situation for them, and it's something that we're very concerned about and sensitive to, because it's not always not simply a physical loss of property, but there's so much emotional turmoil that comes with something like this.
Buzz, you mentioned something about the emergency response to it. How far away and where is the nearest hospital or medical facility that treat these people?
Well, of course, local authorities have responded, and there's certainly a mutual aid available from surrounding areas, and state resources are being provided. In terms of hospitals, I know there are several hospitals in Gainesville, and it's my understanding that they would all be available for patients to be taken to. I do not know for a fact where the injured have been taken.
Yeah, Buzz, what about the search now for those folks that are unaccounted for? Are you running into any problems because of the damage that's already been done in trying to do that?
It's always difficult and precarious to carry out a search in that situation. Of course, there's so much damage to these buildings, but we're certainly looking to see where anybody who was unaccounted for might be. We know that there were some entrapments earlier, and we're currently trying to survey the situation now and get a handle on it and get everyone accounted for and make sure they're all right.
All right, Buzz Weiss, thanks very much.
And we're getting our first reports now that someone, I can think of it from the Dawson County Sheriff's Department. I don't know if it was Sheriff's Department, but an official as he told us that has died as a result of the severe weather. So,
all right, Keith Calland is up in the air and has been flying over the devastation to show us the pictures. Why don't we go back to him? Good morning, Keith.
Yeah, good morning. This is the farthest south that we believe this is where the tornado first touched down, because this seems to be where the devastation starts. This is just due south of Highway 60, which is Thompson Bridge Road. It extends about 6 miles. You've seen the shots of Lanier Elementary. You've seen the shots of North Hall High School. And basically, it was very capricious in nature, as I said a little bit earlier. Trailer parks, really trailer parks. A lot of trailers damaged, but a lot of very expensive homes. Some of the shots we showed you earlier was right there off Lake Lanier. A lot of people had moved there for the peace and solitude of this beautiful lake, and their lives have been devastated by this. And the thing that strikes me as much as the devastation is the fact that you will fly over an area and you will see homes that are completely untouched by this tragedy, and not 100 yards away, complete devastation. I mean, there's a lot of livestock in this area. We fortunately have not seen any damage to the livestock. The cows and the horses and other farm animals seem to have escaped this thing, although there's some areas where you can see the cows are investigating the downed trees, and they look terribly baffled, as you can imagine. But this again is Lanier Elementary School. This was at the very beginning of the devastation. 6 miles to the north, it continues this way, and again, it was a very democratic type of storm. It hit anything in its path.
Yeah, boy, the video really tells the story, Keith. And Keith, I want to mention too that we've been told now that Governor Zell Miller is flying over the area, getting a look at it firsthand, and he is expected to issue a statement a little bit later on today. Obviously, you know, maybe the state can provide some sort of assistance to the folks in that area.
Yeah. And I'm sure the governor's probably as devastated as we are when he sees this.
Obviously, and Buzz Weiss with the Georgia Emergency Management Agency, we had him on the phone just a couple of minutes ago talking to us about what they're doing, and right now what they're doing is just sort of assessing the damage, sort of mobilizing and looking for those folks that may still be unaccounted for. All right, Keith Callan, thanks a lot. We'll check back with you a little bit later on. Right now, why don't we take a look at the schools that have been closed as a result of the situation in Hall County. Let's go to those this morning. These are the schools that have been closed. It is North Hall Middle School, North Hall High School, Sardis Elementary School, Riverbend, Lanier Elementary, Mount Vernon, and Wauka Mountain Elementary School. All of those schools have been closed today. The North Hall County High School has been set up as a command post for the Red Cross, as well as the emergency crews there try to assess the damage. Again, just to give you an update on what the situation is there, about 6:30 this morning, a tornado moved through the area, cutting a path that's about 6 miles long. Very narrow path, apparently. We are getting conflicting reports about how many fatalities there are. There are reports that maybe 5 people have been killed as a result of the storm. Others say 3. We'll try to sort that out for you throughout the morning as well. And emergency crews say that the possibility that 1 child may have been killed as a result of this storm. It cut sort of a northeast path through the Hall County area. Okay, we're going to go to Angelique Proctor, who's standing by live now in the area. And Angelique, what can you tell us? You're at North Hall High School, right?
That's right, Gervier. I have talked with Captain Ed Barfield, who tells me that there have been 5 fatalities in this tornado. Now, I've been walking through, looking at some of the damage. The devastation is absolutely incredible. As usual, tornadoes pick up, skip one house, pick up again. And I tell you what, I've just talked with a lady here, if you'd step in, ma'am, Colleen Perkle, who lives on Mount Vernon Road, and that's where we are. Miss Perkle, you were home at 6:30 this morning. Tell me what you remember.
I just put my kids in the shower. The power went off, and the sky was green, and it hit very, very fast and quick. By the time we were in the basement, it was already over with. We didn't even get to the bottom of the steps.
Did you hear anything? How long did this take?
It was just a very loud train for about 15 seconds. It didn't take long at all.
Did you think you were experiencing a tornado?
No, I didn't know until I got to the top of the hill to see what damage it was, because it wasn't really bad. We lived down in a hole, and it wasn't that bad. We had a tree on the house, but it's not that bad.
Now, you saw some of the other damage just around you, a few feet from your house. Tell us about some of that.
There's not a lot of damage. There's one tree down, and my yard is completely clear. And a tree had hit a clay pot on my porch. Didn't even break the pot. It was just nothing on my...
I'm speaking of the trailers that are right near your home, the mobile homes there. What does that scene look like?
That was devastating. I couldn't believe the difference from my house to my neighbor's house. I couldn't believe the difference. It's just everything's gone.
And normally 4 trailers sit there. Today we don't see any trailers.
No, it's just nothing.
Apparently one of the people that owns that trailer is a caretaker for the high school. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that.
She is. She has a family that lives there, and that trailer's gone, you know. She's a really sweet lady. She's a friend of mine, so it's really hard for me. But she's okay. She's with her grandson at the hospital.
And Captain Barfield is telling us that of those 3 or 4 trailers, at least 3 adults and 1 child have been killed from this storm. Now, apparently you work at the high school?
Yes, I do. I can walk across the road to school. But they said it hit the back of the skull. There's a lot of damage in the back.
What areas are damaged at the high school?
They said it looks like there's a house that the students build together, and that it's gone, and there's a greenhouse back there, and it's gone. And there is a field back here. You can see the track. That is the ag shelter, and it's blown away. So the whole back of the school, they're having some damage, and they're cleaning the kitchen out. It's done some damage to the cafeteria.
All right, Ms. Perkle, thank you for joining us, and we are pleased that you and your family are safe. Thank you so much. Again, I just talked with Hall County authorities. They tell me they ran out of ambulances. There were so many injuries in this. They put out an all-points bulletin asking other agencies to please help out, other police departments, other sheriff's offices. You can see behind me, I see a Jefferson police car, all kinds of folks coming in to help. There is going to be a lot of work to be done here. We are live at North Hall High School. Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 Eyewitness News.
All right, Angelique, thanks very much. And of course, Paul mentioned just a couple of minutes ago that the good news is that most of the rain has moved out of our area. So
it's amazing. You know, it sustained minimal damage, and it's just hit all around.
The dog's okay.
The dogs are fine. Yeah.
I'm seeing lots of splintered pine trees.
Yeah. There's my mother with her St. Bernard. She's okay.
That's Marie Bennett with the St. Bernard, and she's fine.
She's fine.
But she's directly across the street from all this damage.
My dad's shop behind the house is gone. My grandparents' barn's gone. You know, it's a mess, but
we're okay. When you saw it, what did you think?
I couldn't believe it. You know, I asked Mother this morning, maybe it's just a little wind. She said, no, it roared. I heard it. It was between 5 and 6, so you couldn't really tell till daylight how bad it was. But.
Yes. She's okay. And your grandparents who used to live in that house, that would be...
Mr. and Mrs. Bennett, they're now deceased, so the house was vacant. So.
A vacant house right across the street from the elementary school looked like it sustained the most damage. What did you hear about the elementary school when you got here?
Just that someone was fatally injured next to the school, and there's a caretaker's trailer, I think, that was damaged.
Tell me about that. The fellow was driving a produce truck this way.
That's what I hear, and I heard that it was blown into the school. I'm not sure. But
and at just the minute when the truck landed upside down on the caretaker's house, the caretaker had stepped outside?
I didn't hear that, but I'm glad.
Well, that's what your husband told me just a few seconds before we found you.
That's good to know, but I'm sorry for the gentleman that was in the truck.
And you think they've not been able to remove him from the parts?
Told. I don't know that for sure.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your joining us. Sally Sears live at Lanier Elementary. If we can walk back this way just a bit more, you can see the damage to Lanier Elementary behind us. They have asked us to stay behind the running track here at the school. It's littered with pine branches, and there are emergency personnel out there. We are told, let's see if we can show you the truck again. It went upside down over the football field or the running track out here and landed upside down on the caretaker's house right in front of Lanier Elementary School. The school roof was taken off. Everyone I've talked to has been amazed at the timing of this, but sometime between 5 and 6:30, had it been 3 hours later, that school would have had hundreds of elementary school children in it. Nobody can believe how fortunate for the timing. Except for the man in the produce truck. They tell us he's still in the wreckage. They've not been able to get him out. Emergency workers preferring to deal with the living than to try yet to extract the dead from the wreckage. Over behind the school, you can see more trees down on the track, and that is the ground path that we just showed you from Chopper 2. We think that's the direct route that this storm took as it went over to hit the North Hall Middle School and North Hall High School. So we're live at Lanier Elementary in the Murrayville community just north of Hall County. Sally Sears, Channel 2 Action News. Pam, Warren.
Thank you, Sally. And Matt Wallace in Chopper 2 over the scene of a house which has just been absolutely blown off its foundations. Matt?
Pam, this is one of the hardest hit areas. The tornado actually snapped all the trees off about ground level around here. All these homes, as you can see through Skycam, were blown completely off, mobile homes blown completely off their foundations. The one that you see, if Rick can pan back to up and to the left, you can see the remnants of this home that ended up in the lake. I understand searchers are still looking for 2 people that are missing from this home. They're actually looking in this lake and around this area for those 2 people, and unconfirmed whether they were elderly or what age these people were, but they are out looking for them, as you can see through Skycam.
And of course, Matt, the timing is everything. As Sally was saying, we're so fortunate that the kids were not in school, but the timing of this storm makes it highly likely that most people were either getting up, getting ready for work, or they were still asleep in their bed and didn't have any idea that severe weather was approaching them.
Absolutely. It was an early morning tornado, probably caught most people at home.
They've got quite a crew of people we can see from Chopper 2 searching down there in the debris and beginning to look in the lake. That is hard to believe that was a house.
It's incredible.
There,
and you can see as Rick pans back, you can see the foundation, the outline of the foundation of where that house was.
And Matt, you've seen others like this.
There's 12 to 15 miles long, Pam, of utter destruction. I haven't had a count on how many homes so far, but I would say in the upwards of 50 to 60 homes completely destroyed, as you can see through Skycam.
Of course, authorities are asking people to stay away from the roads in this area. Have you noticed people kind of obeying that? Matt, what kind of traffic situation do we have now?
The traffic is not all that bad. They're actually heeding the request to stay out of the way, and local folks are probably banding together and out helping the search parties look for people and make sure that all the people that of each home are accounted for at this point. So it looks like a real banding together of the community at this point.
There have to be some anxious relatives. Sally Sears just had a woman who had come looking for her relatives, and people are looking at these pictures right now and I'm sure getting some bad news.
We've had a number of people call in this morning and tell us what they saw and what they heard this morning, and then from the metro area, those people who didn't live in the Hall County area are asking those people who live there if they could call, instead of calling the station, call them, call their loved ones and let them know that they're okay. We're told now that the Gainesville chapter of the Red Cross is mobilizing now, is gathering info and volunteers to head to this area to effort any type of relief that they certainly can. And we do know that DeKalb County is sending some rescue units there. What you're looking at is the aftermath of an apparent tornado that touched down in Hall and White counties about 6:30 this morning, about 6:25, 6:30 this morning. 5 people confirmed dead, a number of injuries. And we've got a number of the damage is widespread, about a half-mile long and 10 miles wide. It's just, you're looking right now at chicken houses that are just flattened, destroyed, partially or otherwise destroyed.
Well, from the air, it almost looks like confetti has been sprayed over the land, but those are huge chunks of metal and wood, and actually, when you think about it, people's lives that have been littered all over the landscape. But it is very selective, and that is the randomness of tornadoes is sometimes almost hard to comprehend, that one section of road and roof and home can be perfectly secure against it, and another a few yards away can be totally devastating.
Unexplainable even among our top meteorologists. Also, we can tell you that all schools in North
cleared extra patient areas. So we are prepared to see these people, but they are coming in very quickly.
So more and more people are still coming in?
Yes.
Marissa, what about the ambulances? We heard a report from Angelique Proctor earlier, and she said there just weren't enough to go around to service this emergency this morning.
I can't comment on the EMS system. I don't know how prepared they are. All I know is that, we are seeing upwards of 40-plus folks here, and that is a high number of individuals to come into the ER at one time.
Marissa Dupree from Northeast Georgia Medical Center, thank you so much for your insight this morning. I'm sure we'll be checking back with you. Again, we're looking at live pictures of the damage, and what a picture it is. Jay Ariano is standing by in the midst of it all. Jay, tell us what you're thinking and what you're seeing, more importantly. Jay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. We're using some primitive measures here because all the cell lines are either down or occupied by all the people trying to talk on the phones right now. Behind me is the North Hall High School. That's Mount Vernon Road over there. Now, we're going to show you some video. We just got back out of what we're calling the epicenter of where this tornado touched down. You should be looking now at pictures of some extreme devastation. The tornado went from west to east, coming through. It took out a good portion of the back of the high school, ripping up the roof. overturning huge air conditioners that weigh probably dozens of tons. And then when it skipped across the street, it went up in the air, came back, hit the ground, and took out a series of trailers. That's where many of the deaths occurred. We're told right now 5 confirmed dead. One of them is a child. Those trailers were, as you can see, completely destroyed and strewn all over a wide area of land. And as the tornado skipped across the land, it missed one house completely, went over top of it, and then touched down again, ripping up more trees, more debris. You see cars in the middle of the picture. They are overturned. One car sitting right next to it was sitting as it would be parked in a driveway. Trailers are gone, and in front of the trailers where they were gone, the cars that people parked the night before. Right now, rescuers out here tell us they think they have everybody accounted for, but again, 5 deaths in this area, and this seems to be one of the hardest hit areas. Their tornado came through here and just hit these trailers that sit along the side of the road like houses would. Many of them, and I could see at least 4 or 5 were gone, scores more damaged. So if you stay with Fox 5, we will bring you the latest. They are still searching some of the debris for people. They're doing their best. There's workers from all the surrounding counties. Early this morning when the winds were reported around 6:30, a call for help went out to all the surrounding counties. And as we were coming up, cars from Jackson County, cars from Forsyth, of course Hall, they're all here, and they're now bringing in building supplies, people with chainsaws, search dogs. There's a lot of people in there trying to help these people who have been devastated by what they are calling a tornado here in North Hall County. Reporting live in North Hall, Jay Ariano for Fox 5 Eyewitness News.
Hey, Jay, let me ask you guys, how much trouble did you have getting to the area this morning?
An awful lot of trouble. In fact, if you're not a member of the media, you won't be able to get in. As we turned off of Route 60, there was a traffic jam there. And you were saying earlier, Gravir, if you don't need to be in this area, don't come through. The roads are being used now by rescue vehicles, ambulances taking injured back and forth to hospitals, fire equipment, people that want to help. If you want to come by and just gawk at this is not the time to see the devastation. Stay somewhere else. Watch it on Fox 5. We'll give you all the details we can, but it is definitely tough to get in here.
And Jay, just to reiterate, everyone has been accounted for. That's correct?
That's in the area where I'm standing now. They have accounted for everyone, but the area of devastation is widespread. It was one heck of a swath that this tornado cut through this area. A little bit north of here, near Lanier Elementary School, there was some more damage. A man there was killed by a falling tree. He is one of the 5. So they are up there looking at people, looking for people there. A little bit east of here, they are looking for people as trees and houses are torn up for a pretty good path. I'm sure you've seen the devastation from Chopper 5.
All right, thank you very much, Jay. And again, it's always hard to assess the damage and everything, you know, this quickly, but that's certainly good news. Everyone has been accounted for in that particular area.
We have Chopper 5 in the air as well as Keith Callan and his chopper, and why don't we go to Keith right now. Keith, where are you? What are we looking at now? Where are you?
We're right near North Hall High School. We're not too far from where Jay was. We've pretty much made this the epicenter because of all the activity, and this is just a very small illustration of some of the devastation of some of the homes in the region. This is right off the road, I believe off Mount Vernon Road. You could just see some of the devastation. As you said a little bit earlier, it's rather unbelievable that for 6 miles, the fact that it was rather capricious in nature, as I said earlier, it would hopscotch maybe a quarter mile and then rip through a half-mile area. And this, of course, is one of the hardest hit areas right around North Hall High School, as Jay alluded to a little bit earlier at Lanier Elementary. That was also really the beginning of the devastation. And it does look like there's a little less traffic on the roadway. They pretty much have blocked off most of the roads heading, especially to this area. But as you look around, again, I think the thing that's more startling than anything else is that maybe a block away from where this tornado ripped through, it is absolute peace and solitude, absolute tranquility. It's just kind of hard to believe that it's the same county, but it's really amazing.
We're certainly talking about the irony in all of this. Keith, thanks, and we'll certainly check back with you later. It's a wonder, you know, the eyewitnesses I was just reading here, one said that there were roofs across the road, you know, just describing the devastation this morning. So Mother Nature is not one to play with.
Not at all. And right now, why don't we go over to Paul, who can give us an update on what the weather's doing.
Units specialize in search and rescue, and as Pam mentioned here, that you've got emergency crews going door to door looking for some of the victims. Here we have emergency crews beginning to work on this truck driver. What we understand here at Lanier Elementary School, this truck driver, this truck just totally overturned. We don't believe this truck driver made it, and we believe he's still in the wreckage here. And so emergency crews just being able to get to this right here to extricate his body from this truck here.
We understand there are probably a lot of anxious relatives and friends who are trying to establish contact with the people who live in North Hall County. I heard one report on the radio this morning that cellular phone traffic was having trouble, probably simply because of the load of people trying to use that kind of system in order to figure out what has happened to the people in that area.
This partition the emergency crews are putting up in front of our camera here, a good indication that there is a body involved as they begin to extricate that body from the wreckage.
It may be a small comfort, but looking at the scenes of devastation, it's almost amazing that we don't have more fatalities at this point, because the devastation is so horrible and so widespread.
One of the things that I asked people when they called in from this area, how long they lived in the area, and if they could ever remember something so devastating, and none can. But what's interesting, I believe we've got a gentleman who called in earlier. He's 80 years old. He says he remembers the worst tornado in history, in Hall County history. Struck about 1935, 1936. 200 people killed back in 1935 or 1936. And that's why perhaps none of the people that we talked to this morning could recall devastation so widespread, so tragic in this area.
You see not much traffic on these roads. That's because people, emergency crews, are asking you, the public, to stay out of this area so they can do their work. They've obviously got an enormous amount of property to search to make sure that there aren't any additional victims buried in the rubble that's been left behind by this morning's vicious storm. There was a warning, though. Karen was on the air this morning.
We're right in the, just about to begin our last half hour of Channel 2 Action News this morning when the warning came down, and Karen gave the call right then and there for people to take cover, particularly in Hall and White counties. Matt Wallace above the scene right now, and what can you tell us, Matt, from where you are right now?
Warren, this area, another one of the areas that are hardest hit, a substation that carries the power distribution from this area, completely knocked out. This is where the path of destruction actually parallels and crosses over this 115 power line that I just found out from some of the Georgia Power folks that are flying up in this area. This power line is completely down. The structures were destroyed by this tornado, causing a hazard, of course, in this area among the rest of the destruction, as you can see it.
So we're obviously going to have people without power in this area for some time to come. I don't think we've had any estimates yet of how many might be without power. That's still to come.
We did hear from one resident who told us that they lost power and then power came back on. So we don't know exactly how large an area is without power or lost power and may still be without power.
And again, all those dwellings right there, just fine and not far from absolute destruction. Back on the ground now. Again,
as we look at this emergency vehicle here, we've got the Gainesville chapter of the Red Cross mobilizing.
Your neighborhood sustained some very heavy damage.
Yes, ma'am, it did. It's right on the other side of that school, and it just took a path and took several houses out. Our house has got severe damage, but everybody is okay.
Fortunately, no one was hurt.
That's correct.
Tell me about Mr. Payne. That's almost a miracle that he was not injured.
He lives in a trailer right beside the school, and he's is the groundskeeper, and his trailer is nowhere around, but he and his family were fine. His daughter was trapped, and she is in the hospital, but they did get her out safely. And I noticed that they've taken the man out of the truck.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Caroline Holcomb, whose daughter is a student here at Lanier Elementary School. These children are getting a vacation that they certainly didn't plan for, an early Easter vacation they didn't plan for. Fortunately, again, no one hurt here at the school. None of the students, some 600 students, attend Lanier Elementary School. But again, fortunately, this tornado hit before school opened. Keith, back to you.
Thank you very much for that. And again, to reiterate, all Hall County schools are closed this morning, and you can really tell from that truck, the ballistic debris from this tornado is incredible.
Phenomenal. Our Skycam pilot, Kurt Kalbeck, has been sort of following the path of destruction, and when we last talked, Kurt had covered about 7 miles of the area. Where are you now, Kurt?
Well, we're kind of making our way back towards the North Hall High School, so we came across this home here that looks like family and friends are trying to go through what remains of the home and try and get some personal items together and go somewhere else for seek some shelter. But we're going to continue to look left here, John. If you could pan over where that foundation we were just looking at. where a house once was. There's the foundation, and there's all that remains of a home is scattered throughout the pasture. So once again, we're just clearly seeing some indiscriminate picking of homes where one home won't be touched at all and the next one will be completely destroyed. But we're making our way back towards the North Hall High School, and we'll keep you posted on what else we come across.
Yeah. And as we were saying, or Kurt was saying, he'd covered about 7 miles of it, but Royal estimates that the path of destruction is at the very least 10 miles. So.
Yeah, and it touches at least 2 counties, possibly a third.
Right.
Jerry Carnes is in White County, the southern tip of White County, which also took a very severe brunt of this storm. Jerry, can you hear me?
Yeah, Keith, we're here. We drove up here, up Highway 129. Of course, a portion of this road is blocked off. When we finally got past that blockade, we noticed just the widespread destruction here at the Arrowwood Mobile Home Park. All of the 35 mobile homes here are damaged in some way. Some of them just blown off the foundation, others blown to bits. I mean, we can see big hunks of metal stuck up in the trees. People would like to go back in there, the survivors would, and try to recoup something, but for some of them, there's just absolutely nothing left. As a matter of fact, when we pulled up, we talked to a lady named Hazel Swindle, and she was just in tears, overcome with emotion. She said she had lost everything. She pointed to her mobile home, and indeed, it's gone. But I asked her, is there any blessing in this? And she said, yes, there is. The fact that I left this home 15 minutes before this storm came through, and I'm alive, my husband's alive, my kids are alive. She said that is the blessing. We also talked to a lady named Peggy Morris, who was in her mobile home when the storm came through. She opened her back door, saw the funnel cloud coming. She says she grabbed her daughter, threw her on the floor, grabbed a mattress, and threw it over the top of the both of them. And they felt the trailer moving around. She says she got out of there okay. She looked back at her mobile home, and there was almost nothing left of it. But again, 2 people who survived. There was a report of a 4-year-old girl who was missing for some time. Search and rescue squads came out here and looked through the debris and found that 4-year-old. She's been transported to the hospital. We don't know her condition, but some witnesses said that she appeared to be alert, but definitely very severely injured. So she's at the hospital right now. All others who were reported missing have been accounted for, and no fatalities so far. And when you look out at this mess, it's amazing to hear that.
Jerry, I was about to ask you if the trailer homes there had that spun signature damage of the tornadoes, but it appears you have a witness there who actually is an eyewitness to the funnel cloud.
Yeah,
correct?
A couple of people did see the funnel cloud coming, and keep them looking at the trees, and you can see that definitive twisting of the trees that you see after a tornado. So I think very definitely we had maybe a combination tornado and high winds, but very definitely a twister that came through here.
All right, thanks a lot. Jerry Carnes in southern White County, the scene of at least 1 fatality that we are aware of at this hour. Appreciate that, Jerry.
Georgia emergency management officials have their work cut out for them today. Bud Weiss is on the phone with us again. And Mr. Weiss, your crews are out clearing roads. I understand that the roads are almost impassable all over the county.
Well, of course, local authorities are working to respond, make sure that people who have been injured have been extricated, make sure that whatever emergency response is required is done, and we are working with them to provide whatever sort of state resources that they may need. We've wanted to update the fatality situation. We still are able to confirm only 3 fatalities at this time, 1 in Hall County, 1 in White County, and the 3rd fatality was a Dawson County Sheriff's deputy, and this occurred after the storm. Apparently a tree had fallen on the road, a vehicle swerved to miss it and wrecked, and this deputy was apparently struck and killed by another vehicle while working this wreck. And so at this point, we do have 3 fatalities confirmed, and we're still working with local authorities to make sure that everybody can be accounted for, and if needs to be extricated from any situation they might be in.
And everybody is just about everybody is probably affected by power outages.
Oh, it's certainly very, very widespread power outages. Certainly difficult getting through the various roads up there, and we certainly would recommend anyone who does not have any reason to be out traveling about that area not do so that emergency crews can get done what they need to do.
Got to ask this one too, Buzz. I know it's a bit early, but that doesn't stop the vultures from preying on people. Any precautions being taken at this hour to secure those belongings strewn out as they are?
Well, certainly that's a very great concern. Unfortunately, people do tend to prey on tragedy and disaster, but the local law enforcement, of course, is very cognizant of this, and whatever state resources may be needed to assist local law enforcement will certainly be provided.
All right, Bud Wise, spokesman for Georgia Emergency Management Authority, we appreciate your time this morning.
And again, 5 dead, as many as 50 injured, perhaps as many as 7 dead. We'll keep you posted. We're going to go to a break and be back in just a minute.
Office, and those people are getting an updated list and keeping an updated list of injuries so that they can release information as it is available.
Has your hospital seen anything like this in recent times?
No, ma'am.
This is bad.
Yes, ma'am.
How is your staff dealing with this?
Extremely well. They, you know, everybody knows their part, their role, and they're helping however they need to help.
Can you describe the scene in your emergency rooms? Is it absolutely...
There are a lot of people. It is organized, but there are a lot of people in here, and one of the things that we're doing, because people have come in a relatively short period of time, where we've brought in additional staff to help locate which treatment area they are in as other family members come in, knowing that their family members have been brought here, so that we can put them together. And we have also set up an area in our cafeteria for family members to wait. We have runners that are going back and forth and giving them updated information as it becomes available on their family members.
And Kathy, can you give us a sense of where else the injured have been taken in Hall County?
At this time, all I know is that they've been brought here and they're taken to Lanier Park. I understand that they have set up a treatment center at North Hall High School, and that would be just a triage area, and that's in North Hall County, and that's about 10 miles from here.
And the bulk of the injuries now, you said cuts?
Cuts, bruises, abdominal injuries, just any number. Of course, I don't have the assessment. I don't have the diagnosis or prognosis on these people. I'm just telling you visibly what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. Some injured, you know, some with collars to immobilize them. There's just a myriad of different injuries.
Ms. Bowers, this is Warren Savage. Just last month, we had Tornado Awareness Month in Georgia, and a number of schools participated in tornado drills. I'm wondering, did your staff participate in a drill? And if so, how do you...
We have regular drills at the medical center. We have periodic drills to test our disaster plan, mm-hmm. and so that's very common for us. It's not done just in any one particular time of the year. We do it throughout the year.
We have a picture now, Ms. Bowers, of the triage area from Chopper 2, and we are seeing the people working on the injured.
Yes, ma'am. We know that we have sent a lot of personnel, and then, of course, Hall County has an excellent emergency response system, a good EMS system, so I'm sure all those people are in the field as well. And we're undoubtedly having support from Lumpkin County and some surrounding counties.
Exactly. And to recap, you have seen how many injured now?
The last count that I have received is 51. If you can hang on a second, I'll see if that's been updated.
Great. And we had how many fatalities brought to your facility?
Right now, I've had 3. 50 what? It's 54 now.
54 injured.
Yes, ma'am. 54 injured, not fatalities.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Ms. Bowers. Sally
welcome.
Sears on the ground at Lanier Elementary. Sally?
Pam, a very difficult moment just now. Emergency crews have finally been working on the upside-down truck that we've been showing you this morning. A produce truck, driven by a man who lives around here, whose wife, I'm told, is a teacher at another school. His truck was picked up and blown over into the middle of the elementary school. Just minutes ago, family and relatives of the injured fellow, the man who was killed when his truck turned upside down, have just walked away from the scene, walked back toward us. They are being comforted by teachers and by the principal of the school. It's a very difficult scene to watch, and they've asked us not to take their pictures as they try to comfort each other in the death of this friend, colleague, a community member here. Again, his wife is a teacher at another school in Hall County, and everyone is very upset. We are keeping our cameras on the school because they've asked us to respect their privacy in the moment of grieving with each other, the most fresh, immediate moment of grief that they know. Live at Lanier Elementary School, I'm Sally Sears, Channel 2 Action News.
Thank you very much, Sally. Now back to Skycam from Chopper 2. More scenes of devastating.
From the school, about a mile and a half away, a neighborhood sustained also some very, very heavy damage. This is off Hopewell Church Road. Again, just about a mile and a half away from the school, in back of it actually. Lots of damage to homes, lots of property damage over there, trees uprooted, of course. Mrs. Martha Trusty was in the basement of her home. It was literally blown down all around her.
Got up and turned it sideways and blowed the truck from way down here, what is that, 50, 75 feet? Blowed the lawnmower at least 100 feet, and I don't know where everything else is. My barn's completely gone.
And her pickup truck, we are told, was blown away several yards away from the house. Keith and Jill, as you know, property can be replaced, lives cannot. We're back here again live at Lanier Elementary School. Just a few moments ago, they removed the body of a man who was in his truck this morning making a delivery here at Lanier Elementary School. He was literally blown from the road here at Thompson Mill 100 yards across the track, across the schoolyard, and landed up under some steel abutments here at the school. I have joined with me now is a young lady by the name of Sarah West. Sarah is a 5th grader here at Lanier Elementary School. Sarah, you told us you felt as if a member of your family had been lost with the school having to be closed and the devastation here.
Yeah, I did. You never really know how it feels until you've experienced it for yourself. And never in a million years would you have thought it would happen to you. So it's horrible.
In your young life, have you ever experienced anything like this?
No, ma'am. I didn't ever think I would either. Never. And I didn't want to, and I never want to again.
Thank you, Sarah West, a 5th grader here at Lanier Elementary School. Keith, Jill, out of the mouths of babes. That is the feeling, the sentiment here in Hall County. No one wants to experience anything like this again. Back to you.
Right. All right, Stina, terrifying spectacle of the fury of that storm, having to pull a man out of a truck that was blown into the school.
Absolutely amazing. And for some reason, several schools have really taken a majority of the damage that we've seen up there from Hall County. Let's take a look at the list of school closed.
And am I pronouncing this correctly? Wauka Mountain Elementary?
Wauka Mountain.
Wauka Mountain. Anything else that folks there need to know? How long do you think schools will be closed?
Yeah, let me go ahead and give you an update on that because we have made a determination at this point. As it now stands, classes will not be held at Lanier Elementary and North Hall High School on Monday because the damage there is just so extensive, and the problem of relocating students is such that it looks like now those schools will not be in session, so parents of students at Lanier Elementary and North Hall High should make arrangements for their students to stay home. However, those other area schools you mentioned, Sardis Elementary, River Bend Elementary, Mount Vernon Elementary, Wauka Mountain Elementary, and North Hall Middle School will all be open, and the buses will be running as scheduled Monday morning, March 23rd.
All right, Gordon Higgins, Hall County School System, thank you so much, and of course we'll check back with you later.
Right. Can I ask you one more question real quick, though, Mr. Higgins, before you go? What will you do with those students, then, that are supposed to be at North Hall Middle and Lanier Elementary?
Yeah, let me mention that because currently we're looking at 4 alternatives. One is to use space at the nearby schools for these displaced students, but that's kind of a limited choice because our schools in that part of the county are pretty at capacity right now. We're also looking at maybe bringing in some portable units on site at the Lanier Elementary and North Hall High School. Possibility of instituting double sessions, which if you look at a school like North Hall where we have 1,300 students, when you try to place 1,300 students, excuse me, in other facilities, that could be a very big headache. Right. So there is that possibility of double sessions until we can do some repair to the facilities. And also we've had a lot of calls from nearby businesses and churches who have offered their facilities as classrooms, and that's another alternative. So those are kind of the 4 things we're looking at right now.
Certainly take some time to rebound from all of this. Gordon Higgins, again, thank you from Hall County Schools. Yeah, certainly a lot of damage and certainly a lot of rebuilding going on in Hall County today. Keith Callan standing by. Keith, what can you tell us now?
As we just continue to look at the width and breadth of this devastation, we showed you the shot a little bit earlier of 2 chicken coops. And again, as we said, Gainesville is the poultry capital of the world. And so far, if there's any good news, that seems to be the only damage to the chicken industry. In fact, there's a chicken coop not about 1/8 of a mile away that was completely undamaged. What we're looking at right now, again, is where I think some of the heaviest damage was done. This is North Hall High School, and you can see where there was a house strewn across the road. Along the way, you heard maybe a little bit earlier on Good Day Atlanta, where a gentleman was talking about they're looking for a mobile home that was dispatched from its moorings. I think this is it right down here, right in front of us, where you can see what was a slab, and there's absolutely nothing on it. Nobody has any idea at this time where this mobile home went, to show you the absolute fierce force of this storm. Again, it runs 6 miles from, let's say, where Lanier Elementary is on Highway 60 or Thompson Bridge Road, and just ripped a swath 6 miles long and a half-mile wide. We've seen everything from very expensive homes to trailers that have been absolutely devastated. So it was it wasn't a very discriminating storm. It hit anything in its path. And again, the narrow berth of this particular storm, which strikes me, even though a half-mile sounds like it's very wide, you can see homes on one side of a block completely leveled and homes on another side that are standing and completely untouched. But it's not just a devastation to property, but these trees. You know, this is one of the most beautiful areas in the country in North Georgia and the Gainesville area, and just the devastation to the pines. I mean, flattened as if someone had just taken a steamroller through this. But this is where pretty much Command Central is north. This is where Jay Ariano has based himself, and we've seen some other helicopters, and we're expecting the governor to be flying in here. We're kind of taking a peek to see if maybe he has arrived to take an assessment of this damage. But as we keep going back and forth, we keep unearthing new things. And again, if we could implore everybody in the Gainesville, North Hall County area, stay off the roads on the north side of Lake Lanier, whether it be Highway 60, 129, Highway 11, etc. These people need to go and take care of some of these people. It's just absolutely devastated by this storm.
Yeah, a lot of people devastated. Thank you, Keith. Again, if you're just joining us, the storm hit about 6:30 this morning. What a lot of people, eyewitnesses, are calling a tornado. You're looking at live pictures again. 44, at least 44 people injured, 5 people killed in all of this. And now the cleanup, the recovery begins.
And you know, no one agency can do that. And so we have the local agencies involved, the Georgia Emergency Management Agency, as well as the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And joining us now is Mary Hudak with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. She's on the phone now. And Mary, what are you folks doing to help out?
Well, at this point in time, we're coordinating closely with the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. We have liaisons in their Emergency Operations Center, and we're preparing to send teams with the GEMA folks into North Georgia to begin the process of evaluating the damage and what the needs might be. As you've noted, they're really in a response situation right now, trying to care for survivors, find those who might need rescued, and meet emergency medical needs. And it's important that that first step of the process take place. But we stand ready to help GEMA begin that recovery process with whatever federal resources might be necessary.
Mary, is it too soon to assess the federal aid will be coming our way to help?
Yes, it really is too preliminary to begin talking about that, because we really don't know what the needs are going to be. We certainly see the size and the extent of the storm, but once we have an opportunity to work with GEMA and see what the needs are, then I think the governor can make a fair determination as to what might be needed, and FEMA can respond accordingly.
All right. Mary Hudak, thanks very much for joining us. And, you know, there are several medical hospital medical facilities in the area that are treating the injured. Some of those include Columbia Lanier Hospital, which is in Gainesville, Habersham Medical Center, and what was the other one? North Georgia Medical Center, where injured have been taken as well. And again, as Lisa mentioned, about 44, 45 people so far that have been injured, possibly even more, and 5 confirmed fatalities.
And we do have a number for those taken to Northeast Georgia Medical Center. If you're concerned about someone who may be injured, that number to call, take note, 770-531-3841. Again, that number for you, 770-531-3841. You can call. You're asked not to go to the hospital because travel and access to that area is...
I guess you can thank the Lord for that.
I'm proud. I hope nobody wasn't really hurt.
Well, thank you. That's Ricky Wilson and Ronnie Estep. They came down from Walker Mountain to check on Mr. Wilson's dad. He's fine, the trailer's fine, the damage you can see behind me. I've been speaking with other teachers who've showed up here because it looks so bad and because they're worried and because they know the man who was driving the truck that was killed in this accident. The kindergarten paraprofessional told me it was just very difficult. She woke up afraid, and when she heard that it was the school, she was on her way, she'd been drying her hair, she had just got in the car and got here as fast as she could. Mr. Payne, the person they've all been most worried about, used to live in the house that used to be right beyond that light pole. His house was crushed by a truck that came flying across the baseball field. They tell me that he was out of the house at the time he came flying across, and his daughter, a 60-year-old woman, was also okay somehow. Mr. Payne is in his 80s. He cuts the grass at the school. He acts as the custodian. Everyone in this community has been worried about Mr. Payne. He's fine. His sister and his daughter, and perhaps her daughter, were also involved, and they're fine. The only difficulty, of course, is the truck that came flying across the field. The man inside it, his wife, is a school teacher elsewhere in Hall County. He has died, and they have just, we believe, taken him away from this scene. It is very difficult. Lots of teachers are standing in groups hugging each other. Lots of curious elementary school kids who would be in class here are standing around watching, wondering, taking in an eyeful, and it's just a tough situation. Lots of mobile homes in this Murrayville community, none of them injured, and none of them even harmed, but most of the people related to them who live around here in this part of the North Georgia mountains are coming to check on them too, and that's part of what's slowing traffic down up and down the highways. I will try to find more folks who saw what happened this morning and bring them to you. Live in North Georgia, I'm Sally Sears, Channel 2 Action News.
Thank you, Sally. Joining us now is Carlisle Cox. He is the city manager in Gainesville. He's going to give us an overview of the damage. What can you tell us?
The numbers keep changing quite rapidly. Some of the things that we have the latest report on are 5 fatalities and 4 still missing that we're aware of, 54 injured at the Medical Center of Georgia, and 19 additional persons at Lanier Park Hospital. Some 12,000 people are without power from Jackson EMC. They hope to get a lot of that back on by late today. We still have, county still has 3 roads closed in that area. Of course, the city staff is supporting the county staff in every phase of this effort. We also, the county, other surrounding counties are assisting as well. It's a long, big area, and it takes some time just to cover it. But most of the county personnel are out in the field. We're providing support and backup as they need at different locations. I don't know what else we can share with you. We'd be glad to try to provide any other information.
Sure. Do you need additional help? Do you feel like your people have it under control, or do you need help from surrounding counties?
Well, we have a number of counties that have volunteered, and as soon as we know how to best utilize them, I think the county will be calling them in. The county public works and their emergency people are really coordinating it. We're sort of staying in the city and providing all the support services that we can, but trying not any of us to be in the way of clearing out and finding out what needs to be done next.
We've obviously got homeless people here. What's going to happen to them?
I'm sure that's going to be mobilized to take care of them, and arrangements will be made. Our emergency operation is in effect, which we plan regularly, so I'm sure that will be addressed. At the moment, I don't have any detailed information on that.
All right. Do you have any idea how long it will take Hall County to figure out when, for example, the schools might reopen? Is that going to be a process, an ongoing process today?
I think they'll be trying to assess that. Apparently, Lanier School had such severe damage that the question is, how they deal with that. I'm sure Dennis Fordham and them are working on what to do next, but it's still early, I think. I'm sure they're addressing that issue.
Anything you would like to say to the people in Hall County?
Well, I think it's, excuse me, the most important thing is that everybody has come together to work in this, and I think that everybody is really pitching in, and it shows that there's a lot of togetherness in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Cox.
Mr. Cox, Mr. Carlisle Cox, Gainesville City Manager, on the phone with us. Also on the phone we have Buzz Weiss of the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. Mr. Weiss, good morning. It's good to have you with us.
Good morning, Warren.
We've been watching Florida for the past couple of months. Now it's here at home. Your thoughts?
Well, we of course are entering tornado season, and we're always concerned about the weather situation, the devastation we can occur, and we certainly got a very strong taste of it this morning.
Mm-hmm. How is your agency mobilizing to help these victims in Hall County?
Well, of course, we are providing. We are a coordinating agency.
I know the National Weather Service had not yet confirmed if that was in fact a tornado. Can you give us any insight there?
Well, that's what they'll do, and we followed many tornadoes. What the National Weather Service job is now is
to go to that area and look at the damage, how the damage circulated around this system, and also look at the radar indications that progressed through the morning. And that's what we're doing right now to review for you. This has happened at 3 o'clock this morning. See a good band of showers between I-20 and I-85 as it moved into western Georgia. The ironic thing about this is that it was actually losing intensity as it was moving toward Georgia. We're going to show you that and really slow it down and follow the cell that did the damage. You can see just pretty much isolated pockets of showers and maybe a thunder shower. And notice right here what was happening here. A storm was developing, intensifying, and expanding as it was moving through North Forsyth and also into North Hall County and moving through northeast Georgia and playing out finally in North and South Carolina. So that is the cell, but to the south of it, just some very light to moderate show.
That's right, Keith. We're back over the North Hall High School area and just let you look at the amount of emergency vehicles here at this particular school. And it's amazing to me that just 2 hours would have made the incredible difference here of what kind of injuries we would be looking at in Hall County. But we've been traveling this destruction path, looking about 10 miles, maybe no more than a quarter-mile wide at any given point. But boy, it sure has wreaked havoc here in this Hall County area. We're looking at some folks that are trying to drive around and perhaps help some friends and neighbors, but for the most part, most of the streets are closed. Just some of the emergency vehicles. Police are rerouting some of the traffic around here. So my advice to some of the folks at home watching is please stay at home and let these folks do what they have to do to help search some of these houses, looking for some other victims perhaps. But here's a look from the sky. We'll keep you posted, Joe.
Kirk, can you tell from your vantage point whether this is a west to east progression of damage, or did it pogo stick basically to different areas?
I would say it's predominantly from the southwest to northeast, and it's almost a straight line of 10 miles. It just started just south of Lanier Elementary and just went northeast into Hall near the White County line.
All right, Kirk Cal back in Skycam. I know you'll keep us posted. Thanks for that update.
A lot of roads are blocked up in that area, especially in Hall County, and Angie Powell from the Team Traffic Center is keeping an eye on that for us, Angie.
Yes, we are. But, Jill, we want to start with some good news. The roads that we do know that have been reopened, there are 2 of them, Highway 136 and also Highway 52. Let's real quickly give a little rundown of the highways or the main thoroughfares that are still closed. Highway 129 in both Hall County and White County. In White County, they tell us there's numerous surface streets, too many to mention, that have been shut down. We were talking earlier about Forsyth County. 53 is shut down in Forsyth County. Also Highway 60, State Route 283, and State Route 11. And of course, we'll give you more details as they come into the traffic center. Keith and Jill.
All right. Thank you, Angie Powell, live in the Team Traffic Center.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Angie. And I understand that Jennifer Leslie is now in the impact area. Jennifer, can you hear me?
I sure can, Keith. We are standing right along North Georgia 60, and we want to show you right behind us. Power crews are out here. They are trying to get these lines back up that have been knocked down by the high winds and by the tornado out here. They have been here for a couple of hours and will certainly be here throughout the day. They have a long task ahead. Let me also show you on the other side, right past the school, there was a group of parents and teachers. They have been standing here all morning consoling each other. This is a very emotional morning for them. They say that they came up here and were just devastated when they saw how much damage was done to the school. One man described it, said that it looked like a bomb had hit the school, and the children are very emotional too. They say the school has so many memories, and they're just concerned about what might happen now. You can see they've been gathering, trying to console each other, trying to support one another. Crews are still over by the school trying to sort through the debris, trying to see what sort of damage was done. As you can see, it is just the damage is extreme. It is very powerful. You can tell these winds, this tornado that came through here was very powerful, and it has left a devastating impact on the children and the parents and the students here. They have come here to see it for themselves. They want to talk to one another. They are reminiscing, and they want to see just what will happen next. So they are still on the scene, and power crews on the scene, and we will stay out here too. Back to you all in the studio.
Jennifer, quick logistical question. How are the roads up there? We understand a lot of trees and traffic had congested the area. People getting through now who need to be there?
Right along 60, it is moving very slowly because of all of the power crews and because of the people who are coming out here to see what has happened. But so it's going to take you a little extra time, but along here at least there is you can get through. It is slow, but we do understand that there are some side streets that are blocked, so you might have trouble getting through there.
Only people who need to be there. Thank you
exactly.
for that, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
And what a difference a couple of hours can make, because you could see sun shining out in that area. Now, Royal Norman is standing by to tell us what this storm, where it came from, where it went, and hopefully, gratefully, that it's gone.
Yeah, it is gone.
Lasting, it seems, less than 1 minute, but you can take a look at all of the damage that remains behind after this tornado this morning.
Angelique, are you hearing anything about power outages or phone service, things of that nature?
Oh, yeah. I can tell you that dozens of houses have power outages here in Hall County. Definitely, we've seen phone lines down. We've seen power lines down. We've seen work crews trying to come in to minimize damage with hot wires and things like that. So, yes.
All right. Communication's going to be tough then. Angelique, thanks a lot. We'll check back with you just a little bit later on. Again, we talked to someone.
What are your classmates saying? Have you run into any of your classmates?
I've called most of them to check up on them and see how they were doing. A lot of them are okay. I still haven't been able to reach a couple of my friends because of the cell lines. I don't know whether they're just tied up or what's going on, but most of them seem to be okay.
We're having trouble, too, with our cell phones getting out from up here. What I'm sure is that everybody's trying to call and check on each other, and that's putting a load on the system.
Yeah, tying up all the circuits.
Now, what do you think? What's the rest of your day and the next couple of days going to be like? Have you got a test you're getting out of today?
Well, I'm getting out of a couple of algebra tests, but that's pretty much it. I didn't study for them, so I guess that's better.
Well, okay, live at Lanier Elementary School. I'm with Todd Turner, a freshman at North Hall. I think people are trying to put the best face possible on a situation that is just miserable. It's a pretty day up here now. It's almost cruel that the temperature's so calm and the breezes are light and fluffy, and behind us is such terrible devastation. Live in North Hall County, Sally Sears, Channel 2 Action News.
Sally, I have a question for Todd if he is still there. I'm wondering if he will pay even more attention to tornado drills now that he has seen this.
Todd, Pam Martin's asking me, what do you think about tornado drills now? Will you pay more attention to them?
Not really. I mean, I've been through ones when I was here at this very elementary schools that we had tornadoes just pass right by us. I mean, I took them seriously before. It's not going to change my opinion. Maybe it will a couple of my friends, though.
What did your friends normally do during a tornado drill?
Joke around, make the teachers angry, stuff like that. Maybe they'll take it more seriously now.
Was that standard 9th grade fun?
Well, all the high schoolers. I mean, except for a couple of really serious seniors, but, you know.
And now you know, not a laughing matter.
Not really a laughing matter, no.
Tell me what your mother did when you were in drills here. What kind of drills did they have? Did they make you duck under the desks or move in the halls? What was it like?
They made us get out in the halls and crouch down and cover our heads and to our knees with our books. And Mom would get out of class and make another teacher watch her kids and her children, the mom's children, and come down and see me.
Yeah.
Check on me.
When do you remember those being held most recently?
Well, that was like 2nd or 3rd grade. That was a long time ago. That was like 7 or 8 years ago, I guess.
But they were pretty good about having drills here regularly.
Oh, yeah, the drills, yeah. But I mean, that one was an actual watch because there had been tornadoes around.
When was your last drill at North Hall High School?
Less than a month ago.
No kidding.
Less than a month ago.
And now this?
Yeah, now this.
Okay.
I'm just glad we hadn't made it to school yet.
Tell me that again, because I think that's a point well worth making. You're calling your friends. No one had gotten out of their houses yet. Not at your house, anyway.
Yeah, most everybody hadn't gotten out of their house, and if they had, they'd gotten to either Sardis or were on the road and had somewhere that I could get in touch with them, like a pager or something.
Pam, Warren, here we are. This is Todd Turner again, a freshman at North Hall High School. His mom's a 4th grade teacher here. He seems to be pretty actively on the cell phone calling his friends to make sure they're okay. Any more thoughts?
No, Sally, that will do it. We do have an update on a specific injury. A life flight pilot has called us to tell us that they are life flighting a 10-month-old who was found in the woods. The child is critically injured. They are life flighting that child to Eggleston Hospital. Of course, we will keep you updated on their condition. And we'd like to thank everyone who is holding for us on the phones. Joining us right now is Vaughn Woods of the National Weather Service. What can you tell us about this storm?
Pam, what we have got information from the Hall County officials is that a total of 5 confirmed deaths, which you may already have. I don't know. That there was 1 in a car and 4 in a mobile home park near community of Mount Vernon or Mount Vernon Road near North Hall High School. That's the that's probably only 30 minutes, so I have confirmation of actually what was on there's been no survey work done on the ground, so we can't at this time say definitively, other than the fact that severe thunderstorm went through the area, exactly what has happened.
The latest total we have is 7 confirmed dead, Mr. Woods.
So you have more recent information we have.
But do you have any doubt in your mind, looking at these pictures, that it could have been anything else other than a tornado?
Well, having not seen the pictures,
well,
having not seen the pictures, I don't know. I'd have to. It sounds possibly so, but as without looking at pictures on the ground, I can't say at this time.
All right, we know we had some warning right before these storms hit, but tell me about this storm system. Did we know, for example, last night that this was going to be a bad one coming into the state?
There was a watch for severe thunderstorms issued by the our forecast center in Norman, Oklahoma at 12:45. So we had actually mentioned this, I believe, the day before, that there would be possibility of some severe thunderstorms that night, or rather last night. So there was indications of that, yes, and it was conveyed to the public.
Would you please give us right now, while we look at this horrible devastation, some tornado safety tips? Tell people